Dane, did you hear what my idea was?
No, I didn't.
No.
Caught the end of it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a credit card urn.
Okay.
Okay, for dead credit cards. Right? You don't want to just cut them up, throw them in trash or whatever, or maybe cut them up and put them in trash. And shredders usually don't shred them up, right? I've got several cards like that because I keep having to change the number. So anyway, I'm thinking an urn, right? One piece of log, cut it in half, right? Turn this half into your typical bowl, right?
Yep.
This half into the bowl with say a 2-inch
slot.
A slot, yeah. Where you would drill a hole through that 2-inch piece, hollow the rest of the bowl out, right? And you would have this 2-inch slot up here or in the middle of it, right? Make sense?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Would go through there that you would put the credit card into. Yeah, something like that. Yes, Gary. Yeah.
The top half
Turn your video on.
Would be hollowed out with kind of that 2-inch tube. What you're
Gary,
talking
your video went out.
Okay, what happened here? Okay,
There you go.
try it again. So this would be your
yeah,
that's the bottom half, and then you've got that top half with a 2-inch funnel down in it.
Yeah.
That would be pretty hard to get something back out of that, because as you say, when you turn it upside down,
yeah,
they're all gonna fall. This is an envelope. Fastest thing I can find to do that.
Good. Yeah, that's good. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And it would not open. Wouldn't have a lid on it.
Yeah, you'd glue that permanently together.
Yeah.
Well, you ought to then test this theory out and let us know. Report back.
I'm gonna.
The hole needs to be a slot in there, though. Not a round hole is not going to work very well.
If she cuts it to 8 inch wide and makes a 3/16 inch hole, that would be pretty difficult to get.
Yeah, I'm thinking if the hole is round, it'd be harder to get anything in there to help get the pieces out.
It would be hard to get anything in there to start with, though.
No, not necessarily. If you cut the strips small enough to go through the hole.
If you cut the strip small enough to go through the hole, you probably never get the right ones back out anyway.
You don't want to get them out.
Yeah, that's the purpose. I don't want to get none of them out.
Yep.
Hey, Sue, what are you putting in there? Credit cards?
This is Brenda, Ronnie.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Brenda.
Yeah. Yeah. What my next project, I'm thinking about making a credit card urn.
Okay, but how many credit cards are you gonna be able to put in there?
Oh, a lot, depending on
A
how
lifetime.
Yeah, lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a stupid question for you.
Okay.
Why not take the credit card, hold it with a pair of pliers, and put a torch to it?
Because the external market, 90% of them is not going to have a torch and think to do that.
No, but you have something that somebody at some later date could get into it and retrieve the card. If you put a torch to them.
Well, no, she's going to cut them. She's going to cut them up into little pieces and drop the little pieces in.
For credit cards that are no longer valid.
They're no longer valid, so they wouldn't work anyway.
Right. So I'm just wondering why you're going through all of this.
Because people are easily parted with their good money.
And my I heard you say earlier, but my shredder shreds credit cards.
Really, mine don't. No, normally I just cut them up with the scissors, cut through the number.
There you go. There you go.
But I don't want somebody to I don't know, find the number or find the pieces or whatever and put it back.
Ronnie, it's for that bougie market that's out there.
Ah, no,
I was
was
just
just
thinking, making one for myself, but you got a
I
point.
was just wondering,
Yeah.
wondering what I was thinking.
What are you making?
Credit card urn where your shredded credit card pieces go to rest.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would sell, Brenda. It would
Well,
sell.
I wasn't thinking
Batch
about
it up,
selling
put
it
it
or
in your
whatever.
trash can.
Just to keepsake.
One for myself.
Cut them up and cast them in epoxy. You can make something out of it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
something else later on in life. Yeah.
That's, boy,
During
that's
the
an
learning
idea.
experience.
Right?
I was thinking, like after I got it filled up or whatever, then throw it in the burning pile and burn the whole thing. But then you're right back to Ronnie's idea. Why didn't you just burn it in the first place?
Well, it's the fun process of getting there.
True. Yeah.
Run.
I don't know.
Like guarantee you make a couple of them and you'll sell it at your little craft market you go to.
You think?
Guaranteed. Yep. Guaranteed. Credit
Yeah.
card earn.
Yeah. Correct. Well, I like the idea.
A fool is easily parted with their money,
Yeah, we're a
Yeah, I
little
guarantee you
thin.
somebody will buy that.
right?
You know it. You know they will.
Yeah. Could be. We will have to. figure
Especially
that
if you go somewhere where Dave Ramsey's just been recently,
There you go.
you'll sell out.
Right?
Hey, Brenda,
Yeah.
I've got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
When I got off the meeting last week, I heard you talking and I heard Sue talking and I heard another lady talking, but I didn't know who she was. Anybody know who was that lady? Because it looked like she was very
Paula.
involved.
Paula.
Girl.
Paula.
Yeah,
Paula.
she spoke quite a bit last week.
Yeah,
Of course,
that's the
that's
first
it.
time I heard her. Is she on tonight yet?
Not yet. She's been on before.
Really?
Yeah. You were napping.
A couple times.
All
Gotta pay
right,
attention,
all right,
Ronnie.
you caught me.
Uh-huh.
See, you can't see me napping now.
Well, I know. The
I
reason why we can't see is because you're fixing to get comfy so you can take a nap later.
There you go.
We're on to you.
Yeah, we don't need to see him napping. Hello, everybody.
That's the last
That's
we'll hear
right.
from Ronnie
Andy.
tonight.
Hey,
All right,
everyone.
well, if we hear Paula, introduce
Will do.
We missed last week.
Ronnie, don't nod off, Ronnie, because I got Mark Sillay, one of your favorite turners of all time, is
her.
coming up.
Oh, there
tonight.
we go.
Nice.
There we go. A good friend of mine called me and said, Mark Sillay's coming to town. Should I take his class? And I said, by 100%. Take it, and next year, if he does it again, take it again, because you're not going to remember everything he teaches you.
Is that
one
in
of those
town here,
duds.
Ronnie? Ronnie, is that here in town or?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
he- Yeah, he's coming to the Bayou Wood Turners.
Okay, I've always enjoyed his demonstrations and his
Oh, yeah.
classes.
Yep.
In my opinion, if you cut wood, slice wood, whatever, you have to talk to Ronnie. You have to be there with Mark. You have to be.
Yeah.
So, Kate, are you living in snow right now?
Hey, no, not really. We've been getting lots of rain the past couple days. A couple above temperature, so it's been melting, but now it's going to dip down below 0 again all week and freeze, so it'll be a nice drink everywhere.
It's heading that way. It's snowing here right now.
Really? In Arizona?
Yep.
Oh,
Every
that's
year,
cool.
every year during this time, right after Valentine's Day, it always snows.
Well, you brought
Wow.
us an inch of sleet in Oklahoma City last night and this morning, and we're gonna get your storm tonight.
Yep.
So we're Oklahoma City, nice and warm, 17 degrees right now.
I live in the deserts of Southern California, and we actually got snow yesterday.
Well, good.
Yep.
You needed the moisture
Part of
anyway.
that
you
same
can get it.
storm.
Well, I hate to tell y'all, I was outside today and it was 80 degrees.
Yep, that cold spell's heading y'all's way.
No, it's gonna bypass us. It's going across the, in
Do you
fact,
believe in weather?
between,
Do you believe in weather people?
between
Amen.
us and Dallas, Texas, I think there's 40 degrees difference in temperature.
Yeah, I believe
Or
it.
Shreveport.
It's 39
Wow.
degrees in Shreveport, 79 here.
Only
We had
minus
60
10 here.
We had 60 in PA and it's down to 25.
And for y'all that
Celsius.
aren't familiar with this coming Tuesday's Mardi Gras. So if it's 80 degrees and during Mardi Gras, you know what's gonna happen.
Already
Maybe getting naked.
get out the beads.
Catch your COVID.
Maybe we'll call that the greatest free show.
Yeah.
Is that free or freak?
Well, that too.
Both.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
Y'all talking about freak on all of y'all know the French Quarter.
Yep.
Well, Mardi Gras Day, on the back end of the French Quarter, they have a, what would you call it? It's
I don't- Ronnie, you might not be able to talk about that. Wait.
it's a costume contest.
Yeah, it would be here.
And
Bunch of furries.
you see some
That's in
elaborate
Pittsburgh.
costumes. So that's it. That's all.
And it's not
cleaned up
gender
that way.
safe.
So what are you gonna go as?
Nah, my days of that has long been over with.
Ronnie, meet Paula. Paula, meet Ronnie. Ronnie's been talking about you, Paula.
Where are you,
Uh-oh.
Paula?
I'm on now.
Put yourself on video.
Oh, no, I don't, yeah, no.
Well, hey,
Oh, we
Ronnie,
need to know
Ronnie
who we
should say
talking
the same
to.
thing to you. Put yourself on video.
All right, I'll do
Ronnie's
that. Paula.
napping.
Still looking at Ronnie's back porch.
There we are.
Oh, well,
Here's
There we
Ronnie.
go. There we go.
I gotta
No.
say the other view is nicer.
Paula,
Wonder how much.
Ah, Eddie.
Oh.
what he said.
The other view is nicer.
Paula,
Yeah, I'm here.
I was saying when we got off the meeting last week, the next day I talked to Eddie. I said, Eddie, I says, I heard Brenda. I heard Susan. I said, but there was another lady that was talking and she was very well informed and she was really into wood turning, but who was she? Because I didn't know who she was. And we both said, I don't know. So I made sure this week we were going to find out who you were, because you're very informed in wood turning and you have a lot of good ideas.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not as, haven't
There
been
you
doing
are.
it quite as long, but I'm on.
There you are. We got,
Hi there.
looks like you got Eddie's headphones on.
I do.
Okay.
I'm having a glass of wine and laying down while I watch, so.
Oh, very
Nothing
good.
wrong with that.
Right. Nothing
Well,
wrong
we
with that.
welcome you.
Thank you.
Yep,
I don't ever like to miss
everybody
it.
gets comfy.
All right, Edward, where are you?
Am I, before we get started, am I missing anybody for co-host?
Yes. Yes, Trace.
Yeah, hey,
Great.
Okay,
Doug
Doug.
Miller and
Okay,
Kate.
Sure.
Okay. We got a pile of folks piling in here tonight. We have Mark Sillay do a demonstration for us,
Oh,
scheduled. But
That'd be
that
good.
demonstrator got a little bit under the weather and is not feeling great. And there's no pressure on our demonstrators, so he will reschedule. And that's the fair thing to do. But as soon as he said, I'm not feeling good, I might have pneumonia or something.
my.
The excuses these guys come up with, unbelievable. But he said, I'm not feeling good, and I'm not going to be able to do the demo. So Dane Chandler out of Arizona. I'm in New Orleans. Dane's in Arizona. This guy is not New Orleans. He's further away in the other direction. Soon as Dane got the word, he went to work. And that's part of what this group does. Everybody does something to help everybody in wood turning. Dane went to work and got us not one demonstrator, 2 demonstrators for this evening. So, and that's what we do, folks. We gang together. We don't, there's no clique, there's no bunch, there's no board, there's no directors, not, all that stuff is gone. There's you and me and all of our friends wood turning. And thank you so much, Dane, for getting that lined up for tonight.
You're welcome.
And is Dave Rose is with us right now, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I'm here, yep.
All right, say something else, Doug, Dave, because I can't get you up on the screen.
I'll grab him.
There you go. You got me, I'm pretty sure.
I got you now.
Okay. You're gonna ask me about,
You dropped me a note.
I did. I dropped you a note and I said, we've been challenged by Larry. I'm trying to bring up the email right now to find out Larry's last name. He did leave it, but I'm a bad boy. I didn't bring that along. And he's challenging us to do pens and freedom pens for the time between now and Memorial Day.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to take the challenge from Larry, I'll find his last name and put it in the chat momentarily.
Sounds good.
Okay, I might.
Sounds good.
Where's Larry out of? Where you got to wait and find the email.
I'm gonna have to find the email, right?
Oh, okay.
Larry Morgan is the fellow's name. And it is I don't see the city in an email, but I know the challenge is out there, folks, and there's a chance. You know, it's a whole club. We get the whole world. This ain't a challenge. Come on. You know, he was up by 20. And challenge on. Which challenge? I don't want to say we're gonna whoop his butt, but watch out, Larry. It's on its way. That's one of those things. You know, you'd say pack your.
Eddie, one thing, if we got a slack time, I want to mention in Zoom, on Zoom audio, you can go to audio settings and change. Zoom automatically cancels background noise. Like we listened to a music performance last week and we couldn't hear it because Zoom killed it. But Zoom cancels all that type of background noise. You can go into your under your audio settings and change that so it doesn't do that cancellation or does a less cancellation than normal. So
Yeah,
if you got
there's a
something,
setting there. I was gonna speak on that tonight too, Trace. There's a setting in there if you go in and go to audio settings and you go down towards the bottom of the page, there's under music and professional audio, show in meeting options to enable original sound. If you'll check that, it will put a little box in your upper left-hand corner so that you can turn on original sound. Turn it on or off. And we probably need to coach our demonstrators going forward to do that because it's going to knock out the lathe and a lot of loud noises.
it does, and we don't get to hear the lathe noise when you're turning, and that's probably important to be able to listen to it.
Sure.
It's like
Hey,
Sandy
Dean, how's your foot?
demonstration.
It looks like there's options there for high fidelity music mode, echo cancellation, and stereo audio.
Under what line is this? I'm looking at settings.
If you go to audio settings, on my version, you go down under music and professional audio. On some of the versions, you have to go down and hit advanced. But what you're wanting to do is check the box that says show in meeting option to enable original sound.
What is their definition of original sound too? Is that just
Okay, so when you enable original sound, it's going to pick up everything the mic picks up. It's not going to go in and say, oh, we don't want to hear this noise.
so it does not suppress parts of the audio?
Yeah,
that's
it
correct.
will, well, like on one video I looked at, the kid is playing the drum, and when he's drumming, you can hear nothing except a little slight tap, and then he turns that off, and of course you can hear the drums playing. So
like last
What-
week during your demo, Dean, we weren't getting anything on yours.
yeah,
Yeah, you restrict the
And then,
background.
so is
noise.
that because the original audio hadn't been suppressed? Or
exactly.
Okay, got it.
And of course, I've been working on audio stuff so much with my videos because I don't know a darn thing about it, but I knew I didn't like it. So I've been working, trying to learn as much as I could. And, you know, of course, redid my respirator and a lot of, you know, did a lot of stuff to try to get the sound better, but I hadn't even looked into the Zoom portion of it. But I promise you, after last Wednesday, I did.
Now, I had looked at it before and I went ahead and flagged. That's the reason I flagged it, because the bottom line is that Zoom is set up for a meeting environment, and you don't want to hear an air conditioner cut on and all that kind of stuff to
Right.
suppress the meeting. So it's set up to blank everything else out but voice. And the default is just automatic do it. You can also change the level that it'll do it at too, instead of just the default. But you
So
can also pick audio. You also pick use the real sound from the speaker for like music and stuff like that.
So what would be the best option to select if we want to hear the lathe in the background along with
The demonstrator
speaker?
probably ought to go
Hey, you
to original
minimize the background noise
sound.
to low, not medium or high. If you do medium or high, it's going to cut down all background noise. So you want to hit low, and that'll only take out some of the background noise. So you'll still hear a little bit of the background noise of the lathe and the tool hitting the wood.
And Kate is right. That's the line above it, which is suppress background noise. The default is auto, but below that is music and professional audio, and you can click show in meeting option to enable original sound. It shows up in the top left-hand corner of your screen.
Mhm.
And when you do that, it does not suppress any sound.
Right.
So those are
course, you
two
all-
options that we have. Both of them will work.
You all are talking about working through computers though, you know, for the guys who are using mobile devices, we don't have those options.
No,
I
you
have not.
don't.
Well, let me log in on my tablet and see what it has.
Unless you go strictly into the Zoom settings, the meeting settings, and maybe you can do it somehow that way through the actual Zoom app or the Zoom account when you log on to review your recordings.
Yeah,
And
you
you
have a
might be
lot
able
of
to
the
do it
same
through this.
settings. You just have to dig a little deeper to get to them.
Yeah.
No, I'm on an
Through the-
iPad. I have no idea. They've, under more, they do have meeting settings, but you have your choice of turning on or off the audio. That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I don't see anything.
Oh no.
No, no.
Nope.
Yeah, it seems
Nope.
like there's only enable original audio output as an option on a cell phone.
Yeah.
don't even have
might
that.
be it might be an actual setting within the Zoom meetings you create before you go live in the Zoom meeting. Because once you're in it on your mobile device, you can adjust it, but on a
Right.
laptop, you can't.
Right, but yeah, so that's what I mean, you know, I know when I set it up, I don't know, a while back, you know, just going into Zoom before going, you know, starting the meeting, you know, checking my audio settings. You know, you've got the one feed, you know, check the box or uncheck the box to enable original sound, and there's no other options unless it's updated that info, you know, in the last 2-3 months.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of that at all.
Yeah.
Well, I think the club should just jump right in and buy you guys a good computer. You know,
With all that surplus revenue we've been collecting.
That's right.
Apple
Yeah,
computer too.
yeah,
Apple,
I mean-
Apple.
Yeah. No, well, it's not surplus. It's just undedicated funds.
That's it.
Yeah, you can buy some refurb Apple computers for about $400, man, $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the all-in-one, I bought my wife an all-in-one. It was $600. A new keyboard and a new mouse came with it. It was like 3 years old. There wasn't a scratch on it, and they put the new flash drive in there instead of the hard drive. So it was no moving parts. It's awesome.
I've got to interrupt for a moment because I was really bad a few minutes ago. I was trying to work from memory about what the actual challenge was, and it's completely different than I defined. I just put it in the chat, and it's not actually a challenge between now and Memorial Day. Larry's proposing that we create 22 on the weekend of Memorial Day weekend. So if you
The whole club turned 22, or
there we go. Turn 22 Freedom Pens on the weekend of Memorial Day.
is that
And send them
the
in
whole
to-
club?
The whole club. I actually got a kick out of it because I think you made a comment that, so what's the challenge? And yeah, so what's the challenge, right? Don't think we can make 22 on the weekend. I thought it was funny. The only reason I looked again at it because Patrick made a comment. He says, I've got 50 pens ready.
Yeah.
Could do those in a day.
Yep.
You know, that's a fun challenge right there. If you, yeah, in my prime, I could do pens in 7 minutes. So it looks like I'm type maybe 2 hours. You know, that was in my prime. That prime left a long time ago. I'm still working now to have no.
Hey, quick question for y'all. When is SWAT this year?
Oh, SWAT.
I don't have the
August,
date
believe.
yet.
August timeframe.
Yeah, I know,
Yes,
I know it's
it's
supposed to
supposed to
be
be
the
the last
end of
full
August,
weekend of
last
August.
weekend, but I haven't heard anything or seen anything.
Yeah, they haven't released anything.
I'm looking through right now. We got a couple of SWAT board members on our team,
They
in
have
our
opened
club.
up the reservations at the hotel, but I don't think they've put the information up on the SWAT website yet.
Yeah, I'd be taking my RV up there. Hotel stay costs too much. Big
Yeah, I
park's
can,
just around the corner, you know?
I think I check in on the 25th. Let me just double check that for you.
I wonder if I could make it. My summer is pretty busy this year with everything opening up again. All over the
Yeah,
place.
25th to the 28th of August.
Hey, thanks, Dean.
There you go. You
That's
look
what I
for
was
it, you got
thinking
it.
was, but, you know, just based off of last year and the previous year, so, thank you.
Hey, Ronnie, you told Paula hello, but you know, we got a new member out there tonight, Ronnie.
Who's that, Eddie?
Mad Joe Cheney.
Mad Joe? Why would he be mad?
But you didn't say hi to
He
him.
might not be mad. He may be concerned.
My idea, my wife says my ideas are mad.
Oh, okay. So we have another Joe.
Welcome, Joe. Good to see you.
Joe Klein and Joe Klein.
We have a bunch of Joes.
Yeah, we got
Hey,
several.
Joe. Hey, Joe.
They may not all be on right now, but we got several Joes.
I see Joe Klein's already in a, he's out of Metairie, Louisiana. Joe is like the Metairie master of hat wig stands. But boy, he's turned out some nice work lately. Really.
Your Wi-Fi is real spotty, Eddie.
Crowd.
Yeah, it's running through Harahan. That's why.
I don't live in Harahan, Billy.
I knew that was a
I don't
scam. I
live in
peeled off. But your Wi-Fi is going through Harahan. Wow, that's like a button. When you push that button, it's like, man, blood pressure required, medication required.
Got to take a couple
Yeah,
extra before
he talks like that, and he's in Homer. Yeah, all right.
I know. We down to buy you.
Bill did with the
I don't know if you're talking.
fleur de lis on the outside of him.
I lost about half of what you said. You said Bill, and that's all I heard.
All right,
Hello?
I'm cutting out. We changed to that T-Mobile, and I'm not liking it. And I've been trying to load the gallery onto Facebook and YouTube all day.
Yeah, even
And
your
I can't
video
get a
is
clear
kind
signal
of, you can
either
see the
one.
video kind of pixelate too, so you can tell it's a bandwidth issue.
Yeah.
Hey, if you move to a big city, maybe you get good bandwidth.
Apparently.
Just yeah.
Look, you got nothing to say. Look, that's all you got.
And I haven't said nothing, Eddie.
I know.
I
He's
know,
got
Ronnie.
to. I don't know what
I
the
know.
story is, but he don't like Harahan for some reason. I don't know why. It probably goes way back.
I was laying back, not saying anything. I was stuffing something in my mouth when you said in your prime. And I was thinking in your prime you had hair.
Oh my.
Oh, pick on Eddie tonight, huh?
Ronnie, just to see my wife cut my hair, and she's allowing me to have a mohawk. How you like it? It's coming out, huh? There's a couple of
Getting a little long there, huh, Eddie?
Yeah, we thought that was pixelation going on.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a unique looking mohawk, but it's gonna be a mohawk.
It's not gonna be one of those neon
Got
green.
a lot of new members popping us.
Eddie, I don't think they call a mohawk with hairs.
Broke out, Paula. What was that?
Not Sue. I said,
I'm sorry, Sue.
I don't think they considered a mohawk with just 3 hairs.
No, that's Charlie Brown.
Hey, Sue, that's called a no hawk, not a mohawk. It's a
That's
no
more
hawk.
like the desert.
It's all right,
just
Eddie.
jump.
Back in the day, I used to sport a 3-hair mohawk too.
Yeah, I told you it's the no hawk is the way to go. I agree with Sue. It's a no hawk.
Save a lot of money on shampoo.
Talk about it, low maintenance.
Yeah, save a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, there used to be a educated program, and they would have, it was kind of like What's My Line? What they would do is they would put people in odd situations, and then they would stop, and the contestants would say, okay, will they agree to it? One night, they told these ladies who were coming into this beauty shop that their regular hairdresser was not available, but they had a professional hairdresser who has done celebrities in Hollywood and very important people, and could they allow the hairdresser to do their hair? This guy comes out and he has a row of spikes down the middle of his head, and on the top of each spike is a flag. Out of the 7 women that they did this to, 5 of them actually agreed to it.
Well, Hollywood, yeah.
That's funny.
And
Yeah,
they
they
weren't.
probably would have paid for it too.
Boy, this meeting has really gotten off to a different way, huh?
Hey,
All
can,
about
can
wood
somebody,
burning.
hey, before this meeting starts, can someone tell me, instruct me real quickly on how to do a share screen?
Click the green button in the middle.
Okay, I understand that, but don't you have to open something up before you do that?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you gotta
really
have your
need to
file that
have
you
what
wanna
you're
show
gonna
open.
share open first.
Okay, well, I've got something open on my screen right now that I would like to share, but I don't know exactly how to do it.
All right, well, you can listen to us while you do it. Press the share screen button.
Okay,
And
now it comes
on
up
that
and gives
screen,
me,
you see,
Then you'll have to pick files and pick the image.
okay, there's like 4 or 5 choices on there and none of them really make any sense. One of them says Lightburn unknown. That's what I've got open is Lightburn.
What are you
I guess
trying to show?
It's actually my Lightburn program. It's actually engraving through a camera, via a camera.
That's
So
probably it then.
So you would click camera. You would click on the camera option then.
there's not one. The camera is inside the Lightburn program.
So
Click
click
on
on
Lightburn
Lightburn
program.
and that would program would then be displayed.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Allow Zoom to share your screen. Okay. I'm sorry to mess up the meeting. I was just curious. Is it working? No, I don't know why. Probably not.
Yeah.
Oh, security, privacy. I don't know what all that is now. Running into some issues.
Because you're on an Apple.
Yeah, it's all new, but it works.
Not right now.
probably going through Harahan.
It's asking for some kind of security and privacy thing, and then it doesn't. Let's see. Okay.
Well,
Oop, something happened. All right, it's going to allow me to do it now. Look at that.
yeah, you had to be spotlighted, I think.
Uh-oh. It's asking to leave the meeting. I don't want to leave the meeting.
No, don't leave the meeting, Billy.
I don't know why.
You got to click your share button first.
Click
Yeah,
the file, then you'll have to back out and reshare it.
Yeah, I think it's
I think it's
running me.
Selected.
I think it's running me back through it. Yeah. I don't know what it's doing. Like I said, it's a little different. System preferences, light burn. Hold the shift button to select multiple windows. I don't want to do that.
Now you're sharing.
You just did it.
There you go.
I've done too many strokes. I don't know what I've done.
I'm looking
All I
at
said
a
was
barbecue
I
pit.
Looking
Billy.
at your light burn up now.
Okay, like I said, it's
Yeah,
it's the actual camera. Can you see the camera?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I've done. I don't know if I'll be able to repeat it again, but okay, I see stop share. Okay. Anyway, that's my laser engraver running on my burning some stainless steel. So I actually have a laser engraver that can do stainless. I don't know what that's got to do with wood burning. I don't know. wood turning. I don't know. Nothing. But I was just wanting to learn how to do the screen share. But anyway, all right, I get out.
That's
All right,
cool.
we're back. Okay,
That
good.
was cool.
Now I know how to
You
do it in
could've-
the future now.
You could have
Very
turned
cool.
that wood handle for that stainless steel.
Well,
And then
I
it would
made
be
them.
part of wood turning.
I made the mistake of making one of these and bringing it to a cookout, and then people started ordering them. You know, so it's like, okay, now I got to do work.
There you go. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
You seem
well,
to have a lot of different laser engravers. Can you give us a why and what do you like about them?
I had been buying laser engravers that were kind of hobby lasers.
Yeah.
And this particular one that I bought right after Christmas or right before Christmas is more of a commercial laser, and it's made to do heavy duty things. I mean, to burn on stainless is
right.
It takes a powerful laser, so it's not a CO2 laser. A CO2 laser would be in the thousands of dollars. So it's kind of like bridges that gap between a CO2 laser and a diode laser. This particular one is made, everything's made in China, but this particular one's made in China, and it's a metal frame, so it's bigger. But the neatest thing about it is it's a diode laser, and it has 2 modules inside of 1 laser. So it's 2 lasers hitting a mirror focused together. So
Can you
it's
stick that
like
in, stick the name
4
in,
times,
uh,
4 times the power of the one I had. And the kerf of the laser is about half. So it's a finer laser point with 2 to 3 times the power. So it's a 10 watt output power of them, and I think it's a 60 watt input power.
Okay.
So it's like it's you know, when I ordered it, I didn't know what I was getting. I was just going strictly on people's recommendations that had bought it. It's relatively new, but it does everything that it says it'll do. It'll do tumblers. It'll do, oh my God, it's just so different. It's got air assist on it. I can cut 3 mil plywood with it. I haven't even begun to do what it will do yet, but I'm still learning. But I had to build a cabinet with a vacuum chamber so I can get all the fumes out of my shop. That
can you
took
put
me a
the
while.
name in chat, name and model in chat?
Yes, if I can figure out how to do it. I think I had some issues with that before, but I will type it in manually. I was trying to do a shortcut for it, but they got their own website. But I'll do that.
Thank you.
It's not inexpensive. Okay, it was $1,000. Okay, it's an expensive laser compared to the Niji. The Niji, I might have had $350 in my Niji, but it uses Lightburn software as an option. It comes with software, which is easy, but it allows you to use Lightburn. And the Louisiana hobby guy is amazing. Okay, he has all kind of tutorials on using Lightburn, and he made the whole transition easy.
And this new one uses Lightburn also?
Yes, Lightburn is like, it took me a long time to start using Lightburn because I didn't understand it. It's like engineering level program. And once I got this particular laser, it kind of pushed me into it. And then I watched one of his videos. Heck, he was on our show one night. So it was like, it kind of helped me. And then he will take you through a task from start to finish, which will help you. You can just follow him step by step. So it really helped me out. And it's so much easier to use than the general software that comes with it. You have so much control over it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just, it's like stepping into a whole nother level, you know. But yeah, it's like I said, I think it was about $800 is what I paid for it. But I got the rotary jig with it, which allows me to do pins, anything round from, oh goodness, diameter of, let's see if I can read without my glasses, 3 millimeters up to 70 millimeters in diameter. It will has a rotary jig. So it just sits on these bars that rotate. So you don't have to have a fixture to hold it. Like I said, that part of it kind of enticed me because I could do pins, anything that was round I could do. Let's see, what else was it? And I had to build a cabinet for it because it makes so much fumes, you couldn't keep it in the shop. When you start cutting, it's making fumes. You know, and I don't like doing flat work. So it's like the flat work kind of wears me out, but especially with plywood, $100 a sheet.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It was $100 a sheet. And I spent like a sheet and a half to do it.
Thank you.
That's only 10% of the cost, so that's
yeah. But you know what? The cabinets there, no matter what you want to put in there, even if you want to maybe draw a piece of wood out or anything you want to put in there that has fumes that you bring into your shop, you just set it in that cabinet and shut the door. You know, it's going to exhaust the fumes out and pull air across it. So you could use it as a drying box or set another laser engraver inside of that one if you want to do. The Niji would fit. The Niji is so much smaller than it. The Niji would fit inside of it. So you could set it inside of it and do some engraving with that. But yep. So now I got laser engraving taking over my turning time.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, that's okay. But thanks for letting me figure that out. It won't be as hard to do next time. That was all security things I was having to click on to get through.
You're right on. Good info, Ed.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you sharing with us tonight.
Thanks for allowing me that.
So say, what's that laser have to do with, what's that laser have to do with wood turning? It's embellishment of your work. It's just
Right.
like the pyro needle you had, just like your NSK carving tool, just like your inks and your stains and your paints and all that. It's just one more embellishing idea for your turning. And some of this, or most of the folks we saw in this meeting identifying their work was Billy. He created a logo and artwork to go on it, and Master Sergeant Doug Rowe was with us a couple of weeks ago, and he showed us the bowl he turned, and he's got his own little logo his son designed for him. And most of these guys started out running on a Neji, N-E-J-E, and Neji Master 2 was the unit to have. And now the O-Tour and the Bullseye, and I think what's one Billy's got one. I don't remember.
I got the
I just
Neji.
saw
I
right-
don't. There's a couple of them that are identical. They're just a different name on them.
Yeah, Ronnie bought the larger Neji, not the Master 2, and he's totally happy with it. I mean, he's turned out
Yeah,
some really
the
nice art
Neji is
stuff.
very, very portable. I mean, you can put it where you want it, you know. What I didn't get to say was
Yeah,
the
it'll add
camera
to
that's on here. When you open up the lid with my camera that I have mounted, you can set a round object, say a bowl. You can set the bowl under the camera, click in Lightburn, and say refresh my image. It will refresh it, and it will show it on your screen. And whatever you want to engrave, you drag it on the screen and you center it in the picture, and you hit engrave. It uses the camera to center the laser engraved image onto your bowl. Yeah, I'm kind of like Eddie when I first saw the guy do that. I went, "What? I don't have to center it." So no matter what you put under the camera, it centers it in the program.
Because I got a whole pile of things I burn up trying to get centered.
That's right. Everybody that engraves always screws up and don't quite get something centered. And once you start engraving, you're done. You know, you can't start over. You know, especially a big bowl. It's hard to find. If you get the bottom of the bowl, you get one shot at it, you know?
And some programs, the art is, they give you the location. It'll break it back out and you would just see the outline of the art, not the slide. It'll pick on the art, which isn't that nice. You know, I played with doing a couple of ink pens to give to my medical folks I see. And it took me all afternoon to find out how to line it up. And then I spent the better part of the day building the mandrel because the machine's not made to turn that kind of a pen. You know, I was in the shop playing, and it really, it doesn't matter if it's the bowl, a vase, or ink pen or whatever. It's just shop work. A lot of you folks sell your work, art shows, craft shows, and all that. I admire you. I went down that road for maybe 20 years. It was bumpy and rough.
Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah, after my little brain problem and all that, I don't need any aggravation in my life, and that kind of brought it to it. So I gave it up. Do I miss it? Yeah, but I also miss the dentist office. You know,
you have to make a craft fair into a social event, you know, and if you sell something, that's fine.
Exactly.
That's what it should be. It should be a meet and greet.
That one on a bayou right by that big bridge, you know what I'm talking about, Billy. It's in your neck of the woods. It's,
Southdown?
Yeah.
Southdown. Yeah, they got damaged pretty bad from the storm. I don't know if they're going to have it this year or not, but it's beautiful, beautiful place. Big, beautiful oak trees. Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
We do them in the Civic Center now. We do 2 a year in the Civic Center. So it's very nice.
Well, Eddie, it's 1/2 the hour.
South Louisiana, not necessarily New Orleans. But tell me if that old guy's in place.
Well, I saw him
Is that
pop
old guy
on.
with us?
Mark, you ready?
You never know.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey. Oh, okay. Y'all tease Ronnie about napping. Hey. Go ahead, Dane, bring him in.
All right. Well, we just need him to start the video.
Okay.
Mark, you ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let me get up and go to work here. What I'm going to do tonight for everybody is a lot of my demos and almost all of my demos, I try to make them so that people that own mini and midi lathes can do them. And what I'm going to do tonight is take you through the steps, right? A lot of people make little bud vases. Let me put this, let me flip this lens around here. Flip this camera around. Okay. All right. So now a lot of people make little bud vases. And when they sit there, right, they just look very plain. Right? So if you have plain wood, you know, it's okay. But what I have done with a lot of my hollow forms, and especially my smaller things, what I do is I put a black base and I put a black thing on the top to hold the tube. And what it does, it frames your piece of wood that you're using, no matter what shape it is. You can get like this one here, you can get underneath it and it's got a black bottom. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take you through the steps real quickly of how to do the inserts and how to finish the vase without a tenon, right? Which saves you a lot of time, right? You can drill all these things standard so that they fit your tubes, right? And that way you can do production work, but it really enhances the look of a little bud vase. It looks like a little gallery piece. Anyway, so just to make a long story short, the very first thing we're going to do, right, is we'll put it this way. We're going to put a piece of wood between centers and we're going to make it round. And we're going to put a tenon on it. Everybody got that? Step one.
Got it.
Okay. Step two, we're going to put it in a chuck on the tenon. And then we're going to take and we're going to drill it with a Forstner bit. Let me just set this up here so it'll sit. We're going to drill it with a Forstner bit first that is larger than the hole that you need for the glass tube. Then the next thing we're going to do while it's on the lathe, I'm using a 12 millimeter tube tonight. So I'm using a 13 millimeter drill, and I'm going to go all the way through. So you can see it's been drilled all the way through. Okie dokie. Everybody's got that, right?
Got it.
Okay. The next thing we're going to do, all right, I'm going to put my camera up here. Somebody's going to have to tell me if it's, can you see that?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
Right on the money, right on the dot.
So welcome to the Tucker Insane Asylum.
So now, I'm gonna, and so now what we have to do, right, is we have to measure our hole to make the insert cap for the top. And typically, when I set the calipers, what I do is I measure the exact distance of the hole, and I just make it just a tad proud. That gives me the chance to do a fine fit. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken a piece of this is actually a gaboon ebony. You can use African blackwood, you know, whatever. Or if you just don't want to invest in that type of wood, let me get this here. Right back. Then you can use 5 bangs leather dye and get a U.S. Marine Corps black. It will make any wood black, black, black. And then you can put, if you want to put super glue finish, you want to put wipe on poly or whatever over it, that's fine. But this is great if you want to make wood black. Okay, and you can get that at like Tandy Leather or probably Walmart, all these other places. Okay, so what we've done is we've measured that hole and we've made it just a little proud. So now I'm going to take this little, I can't say the word scrap, it was a leftover piece. And we're going to I'll be throwing out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this so that it fits in the hole. And make sure to round off your calipers so that you don't put a point into a spinning piece of wood. So there we go. Okay, so I've got that approximate size that I've made just a little proud. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a chamfer on it. Why do I put a chamfer on it?
Makes it easier to go in there.
No.
Prevent the grain from splitting on the edges.
No.
The bud vase has a roll over the top of it.
Measures the size of the hole he needs.
Thank you. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to back this off. We always put a chamfer on when we're trying to fit pieces. So now we're going to take our body. We're going to put it on that chamfer. And I'm going to spin it like this. Okay, you see that little shiny spot right there? Can anybody see that little shiny spot?
Oh, yeah, we got it.
Oh, yeah.
We see it.
Designate your high spot.
So that's the exact size of the hole that's here. So now we're going to put this back and we're going to make this fit. Okay, I just made that little shiny spot just disappear. So now this is something that I learned from a good lady by the name of Cindy Drozda. She says when you're, doing lidded boxes and hollow forms and mixing, matching woods and all that, she said if it takes you 20 times to make the fit right, then do it. Now look at this. See that? It's just squeaky. See that? And now I've got a burnish mark all the way up there. So now I'm going to put it back. And because we're going to have a curved surface up here, I have to make an undercut so that the outer rim is the only thing that touches the wood. So I'm going to use a skew. I use a round skew, and I parallel the skew with this tenon. Now it was just a little bit squeaky right there, so I'm just going to do that. Now I'm going to take, can everybody see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
We're going to keep this blade here parallel to the tenon. I'm going to touch this on the edge. I'm just going to slowly make the undercut. Oops. Okay, now we're going to stop the lathe and we're going to fit it. Make sure that it fits because we're not coming back. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide it on there, and you see that now the outer rim just fits, except where you heard me catch that thing. You see how I scraped up that edge? So what we're going to do is we're going to make a sideways cut, or what we call the dome cut, when we're doing an insert. And we do that with a spindle gouge. Let me put this back up in here. So now we're going to take our spindle gouge and we're going to make the cut halfway down the blade. We lock the heel of our hand. We don't drag it. All we're going to do is rotate it. Can you see where the end of the handle is on my body? So all I'm going to do is rotate my hips. I come halfway down the blade. And I rotate. Now that's a pretty big overhang for this. I don't want it too big because we're going to have I'll make one more small cut. And I lift the handle and I make the cut line be pushed by the point and I start to make my dome. See that? Here it comes. I'm going to come. That's what I call the dome cut. And this edge now is razor sharp. There will be no tear out whatsoever. And because it is so sharp, it's like a little razor blade, right? I like to take just a little 800 right there and just touch it. Okay, so we take it off and we're going to do one final fit. Perfect. There's no gap all the way around and there's no wiggle, right? It's very important. Okay, so now what we can do is we can knock this spruce center out. And let's find a chuck to put on there. Now, when I made this piece here, I made it between centers. I didn't start off in a chuck. Why do I always start fitting things between centers? Does anybody know?
Easy to go back to zero again.
I can always go back to center instead of having to try to wobble this thing around to get center. So before I tighten that down, I'm going to bring the center back up. We'll get it in that center hole. Let me come back just a little. Let me come back with that just a little bit. So I want to be able to cut that off. Oh, I don't have to because it already fits. I don't have to cut it off, so I'm okay. I'll go ahead and take it in a little bit. Already fits in there. Okay, we'll lock that in and hopefully it'll spin true. Now let me lock. I did not lock my tailstock down before I established center. So I'm going to back it out, lock this down. That should run better. Okay, so now we've got to make the dome. Do I want that dome that high? I don't think I want it that high. Let me make it a little bit less. Okay, so now I've made my dome and I know that it fits. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to drill through because the glass tube has to fit through there. Let me crank this back. Anybody has any questions or anything? Just let me know. This is a fairly simple project, but it's something that everybody can do on their little mini lathes and midi lathes and enhance the look of their little bud vases. Now, before I drill, I've got to turn this speed down. I've got that running about 500, 507. Okay, and as we approach this, right, we don't just start cranking in. What we do is we come in very, very slowly, and the drill should then center itself. And just go very, very slow. And since there's going to be a glass tube in we've got to go all the way through this little insert piece. Okay, I'm through. Fill out of there.
I know you're going slow so that you don't chip the wood out, but there is a possibility of heat buildup cracking the wood.
If it's not dry, because it'll form a lot of steam.
Okay, thank you.
All of my students get taught the mantra. There's three things that you always have to keep saying to yourself while you're turning. Sharp tools, tiny bites, how slow can I go? When you go slow, you're allowing the tool to do the work. You're not forcing it, right? And you don't have to go back and make another cut. You make your final cut and that's it. So I'm just going to take a little 400 right in there. I'm going to take a little 400 on the outside. Because I've got to have this. We know that it fits exactly, but now we've got to be able to have it sanded so that we can buff it out, polish it up. So we won't go back. This won't take long. And again, don't do a real high speed sanding operation, because a lot of woods you can actually burn the wood with sandpaper, right? And then you wind up with a weird burnish mark on it. It takes you forever to try to get that out. So I've just done here with a little bit of 400. All right. And we'll take a look at it. We'll see if there's any radical lines in there. No, it looks pretty good. So now we'll take our 800. We just put a little 800 quick. Okay, and then what's the last thing we always do before we ever put finish on any wood whatsoever? What's the last thing we do?
Wipe it with DNA.
Wipe it off.
No, we do random orbit sanding. 800 random orbit sanding by hand so that the human eyeball can never see any scratches on your work. The human eyeball cannot see 800 random orbit scratches because it diffuses the light. You can never sand just to finish with the lathe spinning, because as soon as you put finish on it, the finish is going to magnify all your scratches. And it's just like on a CD, right? If all the grooves are going in one direction, if all your sanding scratches are going in one direction, then any streak, any piece of light in the wood or in the room will make a streak of light across your thing. So as long as you go to 800 random orbit, you won't have any streaks of light across your wood. Okay, we are done. We can finish this one of two ways. I can save it now to buff if I'm going to buff it. Or since this is Gaboon ebony, I don't put any finish at all on Gaboon Ebony. Because got sort of a waxy thing, and a lot of times you get a little orange peel. I could use triple E or EEE Ultra Shine on this, or I can save it to buff with Vonex. Which do you want me to do?
Vonex.
Okay, all right, then we'll take this out of the lathe or out of the chuck. We'll come back when we're polishing and we'll polish. Now, if we go to our piece of wood, right, it fits exactly, right? There's no gap whatsoever, right? And the problem's going to be is to knock it back out. Let's see, maybe we can get it back out of here. Let's get a longer drill. Well, I'll just put that drill. I got a pencil here. Maybe I can.
Knockout bar.
Yeah, your knockout bar's right there at the lathe.
Thank you. I knew there was some wood turners in this outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hide in the crowd.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to sand and finish and shape. We're going to shape this thing, and we're going to do it between centers. We're going to get rid of the tenon, because the problem, if we have a tenon on there, then we can never get around to where we need to be to finish the bottom. We're always going to have to turn around and try to horse with that. That just upsets me, because I don't want to do one more thing than I have to. All this small stuff. So we're going to work between centers, and we can finish it completely between centers. So I just put an old piece of found wood on there. Make a little cone, right? And so we're going to put the cone right in here like this. We're going to bring our tailstock up. And we're going to make whatever shape we want. So this is an end grain piece. So we have several choices. We can use a bowl gouge. I don't know what type of shape we'll do on the top here. Let's see if we've got maybe I've got a roughing gouge somewhere.
Folks, I want to interject. This is a slicing cut with a bowl gouge. Watch the work.
No, this is a roughing gouge.
With a roughing gouge, pardon me, sir. But it's a slicing cut.
Okay. Now, if you can all see this, right? You can see how shiny that wood is. There's almost no sanding required. Right. Let me just finish this shape. Right. To get right in there, I can't use this roughing gouge because it's going to hit my cone. So I'll just take my spindle gouge, right? And I'll go in there.
Is that with your normal grind that you put on spindle gouges?
No, it has a convex back. It's the same grind I use. It's got a convex back, right? And a parabolic curve on the front.
It's a like a basic detail gouge.
No,
With this,
it's
with a
exactly
steep grind.
exactly opposite of a detail gouge.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to know more then.
A detail gouge has a fat back to it, has a fat back, and people make a concave grind on it. And unfortunately, you can't do as fine a work with that detail gouge as you can with a deep flute spindle gouge. A detail gouge is made to reach way over the tool rest. Got a fatter back. I'm bringing this down a little bit because I want a little bit flatter top on this. There we go. We came right through. Now all I've got to do is just push the tailstock back up. Right, we'll get rid of this little ring. Right. There we go. And we'll have it cut right there. Okay, let me go back to my roughing gouge here. So now I finish. I've got one little flat spot in there somewhere. Oh, that's a crack in that wood. That's what it is. Okay, so I'm going to do, if you will notice, on all of my pieces, right, I do ball-to-ball construction. So that this ball and this ball meet, and you can never tell where they actually join. I personally just abhor when you put a flat piece of wood against a flat piece of wood. So anything on the top has to fit exactly, and I do ball-to-ball construction so that nobody can see where they join. And then you do a concave on the bottom, and you always do a little chamfer because you never want the bottom of this piece to hit the table. It looks like a suction cup. You always put an undercut for light. Go to any big gallery. You'll always, they can tell the difference. Okay, anyway, so now I'm going to make my ball. Now, watch what can everybody see what I'm going to do right here? Okay, I'm going to take a tiny bite. I'm going right along my cone center. Now I'm going to crank the cone center in a little bit. I'm going to take another little bite. Okay, crank the cone center in, right? And you go all the way to the cone center. So that we don't pro. So now all I've got to do is take a little sandpaper and sand this out to the 800 random orbit. And I can reach both sides with my sandpaper. Right? I'm going to shorten the length of this demo down just a little bit. I have one that's already sanded. All right. We have the Forstner bit hole in there, and we have the tube hole in there, and we've made our ball to ball thing. So now I'm just going to put it on here, put my cone back in, and the last thing we're going to make sure to do. Let me get a piece of 800. Before we put the finish on, right? Let me just crank that in just a little bit. Lock that. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is do my 800 random orbit. And we're just dispersing the light. But you can do your gallery finish work very quickly with this little stuff. And when I'm doing this, what I do is I'll make 10 of these at a time, so that when I have this cone on, boom, I run 10. Every operation I'll run 10, and I'm not just constantly changing all this equipment on the lathe. Okay, so we've done enough random orbit. All right. I'll just take and blow this off a little bit. Okay. I'm going to use some 3408 tonight. We'll turn the lathe on real slow. Because if you put liquid on a curved surface, it always wants to migrate toward the biggest diameter. So you want to be very careful not to let it migrate. So when you're applying the 3408, you're just going to drizzle it on. Make sure you don't have any gaps in the coverage. And wipe it back and forth, back and forth. We want it to soak in completely. Okay, and it's not stinking or sticking or burning or anything. It's just fine, because we've got that time delay in it. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe it completely off the surface. Remember, we never want any type of finish on the surface of wood. We only want it inside the cells. So now I'm getting almost no more residue off. You see, it's not sticking, stinking, burning, smelling, anything like that. We've got plenty of time to work with this because of that time delay. So now I'm going to do what? I'm going to do random orbit with a paper towel, which is about 4,000 grit. Now, since this has a time delay in it, we'd have to let it sit overnight. But tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a little accelerator on here so that we can completely finish it. I'm going to use a heptane-based accelerator. I don't use any acetone-based accelerators because people spray the hell out of it. They're spraying acetone on it, and they're dissolving the very super glue they're trying to make acrylic plastic out of. And they wonder why they get cloudy and shiny and all that other stuff. So we're going to stand back. I'm back here about 18 inches. That's it. That's all I ever put up. Because once you start spraying that little bit, as soon as those molecules hit the surface, it starts a chain reaction called polymerization. The molecules are bumping together, generating heat as they're cured, and pretty soon they keep slowing down. They slow them, and as soon as they stop vibrating, you now have clear acrylic plastic. Okay, we're going to take this off. We're going to set it aside while it dries. It's hot. It's polymerizing. Okay, so now we've got a top that fits. Now we've got to make the bottom that fits. Okay, this is a piece of African blackwood, right? I'm going to make it smaller because this one's too big for that thing. But what I've done, I want you to notice, right? All I've done is taken, I had a piece like this, and I put a tenon over here. And I then did my calipers, and I made it the exact size to fit in that hole. Now you see what I've done? I've put those grooves in it, and I've tapered that off. When I put the glue in there, right, and I put this together, that gives the glue a place to expand into so it doesn't squeegee out and crap up the joint. So always put your glue expansion joints in, and always taper that off. And when you're pushing that in, is you push that little wave of wood into the hole, right? It's got a place to sort of settle and go, because that's like a little piston or a plunger going in there. So what I've done, I had a tenon over here, right? I've made this size, and I've made this cut here. And then after we do that, we've got to make a concave bottom on it. So I'm gonna take this shape down a little bit. Let's see, let me take that thing off. Yeah, these little projects are fun to do if you just want to do something from work or whatever. Go out to the shop for, 45 minutes to an hour. Take an old piece of wood. You're using dry wood, you can bring it to finish. Let me get that closed a little bit more. Another thing you can do, just for safety, right? What you can do is you can take and you can fold this paper towel, right? And right here, just make a little tiny hole, right? And when you put the little tenon through the hole, right? Then when it goes on the jaws, that little paper towel, if you've got a little burr or something like that on your jaw, that'll just keep it cushioned just a little bit. Okay. And now I'm gonna take this down a little bit. I'm gonna have this stuff flopping around. Okay, when in doubt, always say, you have any problem, because I don't have the tailstock up here. Right? Let me just make sure that's in good and tight. Okay. So now we're going to reduce the diameter of this because this one's too big. I'm just trying to keep this short. So all we've got to do
Folks, when you're watching this tool, the edge of that tool is almost like a skew at this point.
what?
It's like a skew coming across there.
Yeah, I'm always slicing, I'm always slicing. So that, like, if this is going to be it, if this is going to be the final shape, then let me see. I think that's I'm going to make it just a little smaller. That'll work. And so now all I have to do here is do a little sanding on this cut right here. All right, let me get some 400. All right, let me do a little 800. Do a little 800 random orbit. And we'll take it off the lathe and go ahead and get it finished. Okay, we did good. Okay, I'm going to do a little 800 random. I'm going to do a little 800 random orbit on the top of this thing. Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, Mark, I have a question.
Okay.
You're coming to Louisiana next month in March, I heard. Where else will you be coming? Where else will you be doing anything?
No, April 9th, I'm supposed to be in New Orleans.
Okay, April then. When you come, where else will you be demoing?
I don't have any other things set up. It's too far in advance for me. I'm probably going to go visit my grandson a little bit in Ocean Springs, and I'm trying to be off the road. But I'm open for things when I get down.
I was gonna say, anybody, I don't care how seasoned of a turner you are, you owe it to yourself to take one of Mark's classes. At the end of the day, you're gonna walk away from there and say that you learned some things that you never knew.
Well, thanks for the plug.
I'm always plugging you, Mark. It's
Yeah, Mark, I got a question on your applying 3408.
Yes.
Okay, you applied it and then you said you wiped it all off.
You
didn't
you do not want any finish on the surface of wood. You only want it soaked in. That's it.
Okay.
Now wait, let me back that up. There's 1,000 ways to finish wood, right? But all I need if I'm using Parfix 3408 is one coat. Because what I'm doing, it's so thin, it's only 5 centipoids, so it soaks into the wood cells. It goes into less than 1,000th of an inch. So what you're doing is you're really making cellulose reinforced acrylic plastic, like you make a fiberglass boat.
And then by buffing it and using the polish, that's how you get it real shiny?
Well, I hope so.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, here we go. We're going to finish these pieces.
Okay.
So what I've got on here is a product called Vonax, V-O-N-A-X. A lot of you guys are already using it. It's a German made plastic polish. It's made for acrylic plastics, Bakelite, and animal horn. You don't want to run your wheel more than 1,700. I've got this one here at about 1462. So the first thing
Can you,
I've got to do
Mark,
is,
can you back your camera a little bit so that we can see the piece?
oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Ken. Okay, so now we've got this little insert piece. We've sanded it with 800 random orbit. And again, because this is a waxy wood, we don't want to put any finish on it.
Finish takes forever to dry on waxy woods.
By what? Yeah,
Oh,
and
but-
sometimes it'll beat up a little bit too. Just don't ever hold the piece like this. Don't ever catch an edge. Always have the wheel going away from an edge. Okay, so I've basically buffed this. And then we'll come back and we'll put a little coat of wax on it to fill in the scratches from the buffer. All right. Ooh, I got a little chip out right on that edge. So what I'll do with that is I'll just put my wood burner on that and I'll just darken it down, and it's a natural inclusion in the wood.
Good tip.
You don't want to put a lot of stuff on the wheel. Don't gunk up a wheel.
Yep. Don't use sandpaper to clean a wheel either.
Make a mess.
What are you gonna clean that wheel with?
What? What am I
If-
gonna clean with?
Yeah, if you needed to clean the wheel, what would you clean it with?
Well, if it's really bad, I can take some 60 grit, or I can just take the edge of a knife. Take the edge of a knife and point it a little bit away, it's like a negative rake scraper.
Yep, use a metal
And you
ruler
won't-
for that.
Won't have any residue in the wheel, any
Oh.
sand grit residue in the wheel.
If you use sandpaper, you'll find the grits in the next piece that you buff.
Okay.
Yeah. And you'll never get them out because they'll be embedded in the wax buffing polish compound.
Pen blank ones on mine.
Okay. Now, we've got our piece. Just one coat, wipe on, wipe off. And it's hard to see over an iPhone or a presentation. If you're here in person, you can see how really unbelievably nice this is. When I do a demonstration, I always pass this stuff around to the whole wood turning club, and I defy anybody in the club to ever find a scratch.
What kind of wood is that there, Mark?
Looks like Western red cedar. It's a real soft wood, actually.
Yeah, you can see the shine coming through on it.
What?
You can see the shine coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can use sandpaper to dull it down.
No.
Would you put finish on the inside as well?
No. Yeah, I will put a little bit of super glue in here with a paper towel, right? But I really don't need any finish on a bud vase because I want to glue this in here. I want the raw surface. If it's a hollow form, right, then what I do is like an ash urn or something, I'll come in there where the threads are and all that. I'll sometimes put a little glue. But on all of my things like pedestal candle things, tea light candle, all that recess gets glued because it's exposed. But this is going to have the two plugs in here. It's going to be never coming apart again. I think we've done pretty good on this. All right, that's good enough for tonight. All right, now let's put I'll put carnauba wax on it tonight. If you're taking it to a gallery or something, or it's an expensive piece, you can use Renaissance wax, something like that. It will, keep it from getting fingerprints. And again, on your white diamond wheel or your Vonex wheel, whichever, with one of those two substances you use, never go above 1700 RPM. And on a wax wheel, I like to be somewhere between 900 and 1000. If you spin your wheel too fast, then the substance that's in the wheel that's holding the pumice, right, will cake up and put little strips on the surface. And then you have to, get everything off of your wheel, right, to pick it back up off the surface. Okay, we'll take our little alrighty. I think that's pretty good. We'll take our bottom piece. Looking pretty good. And again, same thing on the wax. Just put a little bit on it. Don't put globs of it on there. Okay. Then all we've got to do is put our glue in there. And the bottom goes on, and it's ball-to-ball construction, totally clean. You can see behind it, totally clean. Right, if you put your insert in the top, since we did all the measurements and everything. Uh-oh, there's one thing. I took the top off a little bit, so look at that. Oh, wait a minute, this is not the right one. Yeah, it is. No, not. Oh, you know what I did? I know what I did. I
That
fit,
wasn't the piece you started
You
with.
fit it, yeah, you fit it to the piece that you cracked. That's correct.
right. This piece goes in there. I'll have to sand that out just a little bit. That goes in there and that'll sit. And hang on just a minute. Hang on just a minute. There's the piece that goes in the top. Oh, let me just hit that a little. And then I use the Pyrex tubes, and then when the tube goes in there, the little lip just sits right in there perfect, right? And you have a beautiful little piece, instead of having just a plain piece of wood, right? Like this.
Mark, where do you
Yeah.
get your Pyrex tubes from?
North Carolina Biological.
Okay, thank you.
But what I'm saying, that little black just enhances a piece and it makes your wood look better.
Yeah, sure does.
Anyway,
Mhm.
that's a simple thing that people can do to take a plain piece of wood and make it contrast a little bit between the black, do a simple project. But you can put this in any gallery. And when you go to a craft show or something, it puts you way above this ordinary.
It sure does. It is beautiful.
It's
Any other
beautiful,
questions?
Mark.
Any other questions?
No, it's just wonderful.
Nice job, Mark.
Yeah,
Nice
nice
job,
job.
Mark.
Good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's great,
Nice
Mark.
job.
Well,
Great
I'll-
job, Mark.
Demo.
thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate
Great
all
job,
you-
Mark. Thanks for sharing, buddy.
Okay.
Mark, thanks for standing in on short notice for me. Really appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, I had to get
Okay.
permission from the insane asylum to let me out for.
Hey, the
Thanks
show
for the-
was great.
Thanks for the lesson on 3408.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you. That really helped me out too.
Yeah, I've been doing it
I
all
thought I was
wrong.
doing it right.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
somebody still make that holder for the buffing wheel, the aluminum piece that you have screwed in?
Yeah, TMI makes them. You can get them from
See-
Packard Woodworks or Woodcraft carries them. And they've
Well,
got them.
I didn't see them in Woodcraft. That's why I was asking.
Well, I don't know whether, but you can get them from Packard all the time. I've got
Okay.
I've got both the 1 1/4 threaded ones and I've got the 1/8 threaded ones. I keep about 12 or 15 of them here because I ship them out all over the place. And
Craft Supply has them. And
Yeah.
watch if you're buying the buffing wheels, buy them where you're going to use it individually. You don't want the one that you line up the 3 wheels together.
thank you.
Why not?
Yeah, I love
Because
mine.
one wheel gets in the way of the next wheel. You
Yep.
want to be able to use your whole wheel and rotate your piece and not being hitting the next buffing wheel.
Okay, okay, makes sense.
Just have to be careful, you guys. Come on. First time you throw a piece, you learn to be careful.
No, it's not that, but you don't want to be hitting it with Vonex when you're trying to put wax on, or vice versa, you know?
Well, not
Well,
only
yeah, but
the
you use the
extension-
spacers, right?
Yeah, the extension, Beal sells the 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch balls so that you can go down inside the ball too, which is
Yeah.
a lot safer than trying to work on that 3-wheel spindle.
Well, I use them both, and I keep the 3-wheel on my other lathe, and use both the ball and the 3-wheel. So I don't seem to have a problem with it, but it's up to you guys.
Mark, I got a question for you about the small ball that you're talking about. Do you spin those RPMs a little faster because it's turning slower?
Yes, you can compensate for that, but an 8-inch wheel, right? The problem is your outside speed. If you go 17, I don't know what the actual contact speed of the outside of that wheel is, but it's more miles an hour than sometimes that wax, whatever holds that the little rouge in that white diamond wheel or the Vonex wheel, right? It'll paste right up and put little strings in there.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Mark,
Any other questions,
Yes.
Mark?
after you put the wax, you know, I was watching you when you wax the bottom piece. The glue still adheres to the tenon, even if there's wax on it.
No, you would take that. I just, if I do get anything like that, I just take my jackknife, right? And I just scrape up that little tenon a little bit. Because, you don't want to put a coat of wax glue contact.
Okay.
Any other questions from Mark? Say
Enjoyed your
thank you for the
presentation.
demonstration.
Somebody asked for a contact number on the
And-
chat.
404-556-1736. They can go to my website. Everything's on there also.
Do you
thank-
export to Australia, Mark?
What?
You export to Australia?
Can I send stuff to Australia?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can bring it personally if you'll have me a cold glass of Boog's Black Label beer from Tasmania.
Yeah, Donald might be able to arrange that.
Everything comes with a price, Donald. Everything comes with a price. All right. Someone just put Mark's complete information besides his phone number in our chat. Remember, folks, the chat is wide open. If you want to share something with other members, regardless of what it is, as long as you're kind and you're not abusive, you can just put it in the chat. That's where we share stuff. Again, Mark, thank you for your demonstration. Thank you for filling in tonight. And we will see you again real soon.
Good.
Yep, definitely.
Get
Well,
some
hey,
of them
Eddie, you,
oyster poor boys.
Oh, I'm all for that. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
so Eddie, while we got our second demonstrator setting up, you want to do a couple gallery and then we'll span to our second demo?
Okay, well, I have a gallery from this week's mailed in photographs. Can
Well,
I do
let's
that?
do yours. Yeah, let's do yours. And then from there, we'll go to the second demonstration.
All right, here we go. At least I thought there we went.
Oh, you.
There you have it, folks. That was this week's input to our gallery, our video gallery. And if you'd like to be a portion of that gallery, all you need to do is email in a photograph of your work to worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. That's simple, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. And we'll be glad to use it. It goes from here, it goes to the newsletter, it goes to the website, and it goes to the whole world. Now, are we ready for gallery, Dane?
Yeah, let's
Dane, all right, wait. I got one.
let's do yours and then let's go to our next demo.
There you go. Tim Hatch mailed me some cedar, and Tim, I cut out let me get over here. I cut out a pen and a pen holder, and that's a magnetic pen holder. So snap it up next to the refrigerator. Couldn't bring it in here, and it'll hold on to the refrigerator right next to your notepad. I gave my wife one 10 years ago. It's been next to our production table for the last 10 years. Thank you, Ron Radliff. That's where this idea came from. Ron sent me one and said, play with it. And I played with it. And now I'm going through my scraps. Oh, I'm sorry, my unturned material, looking for pieces to make more. It's a fun little project. We may have a demo on it one evening. Now, let's go and see who else has got gallery tonight.
Good to see you back turning there, Ed.
Oh, hey, Eddie.
Thank you, sir. It was fun. It really was fun.
Eddie, I want to go to our next demo.
Oh, okay. Right to the demo? Well, you know, I'm out, you're in. What's up?
All right. So we've got, so last week, Bob Grinstead showed off his spiraling setup, and he's gracious enough to give us a quick demo on it. So without further ado, here's Bob.
Oh,
How you doing,
cool.
Bob?
All right. Hey, guys. I
I don't know what you can see here yet, but
Crystal
remember
clear.
from last week, I was doing spirals around vases. And this one here is about a 6-inch vase. It had a half a spiral. It goes halfway, or each spiral goes halfway around. And I've forgotten, I think it's like 9 spirals per the vase. But let me show you the jig that actually does it, and we can kind of get started there. It's not my idea. This was Jeff Salter's idea. And all I did was to make it fit my lathe, and made a few adjustments to it to where I can do put other platforms on here. But let me kind of, maybe you can see that. Can you
Yeah, it
get
looks
down here
good.
and see this? Okay. Basically what it is, it's a cable. It's a 16-inch cable on some screen door bearings, or pulleys rather, not bearings, but pulleys. Just a platform that the router rides on. There's I'm going to call it a cable wheel because I don't know what else to call it, but you need a wheel to decide how fast this thing spirals, how much cable does it let out, and this router moves down this thing per turn, or per quarter turn, or per eighth of a turn, or however you want to set it up. So basically, let me go ahead and move this. If you see this thing right here, this is what attaches. This is just a coupling, a 1/4-inch coupling, like 1/4-inch threaded rod. And I've got it drilled out to where it'll go over a 1/4-inch bolt, but you can tighten it down on the cable. And this is what actually pulls the router around. That's what makes the router move. So let's move it all the way back here. And when you can see it, you can see that as I turn this wheel, you see it turn the piece, because the piece is actually tied, all of that's tied together. And it actually pulls that cable back around. So I can pull it all the way back down here. So the router is going to move as I turn the wood around. So let me hook this up just a second. So now it's connected to it. It's just sitting over the top of this bolt. Let me show you the bolt. Maybe you can see it a little better. I do have a 1/4-inch bolt sitting out of this platform that I made to hold the router. This is a Harbor Freight router. It's a Harbor Freight bushing on here. Last week I showed you little rubber pads that stuck out here, and that works okay. But sometimes it gets in the way of the actual spiral that's on here, or maybe like this. It was a concave type cut on my vase I've got here, and that held the router bit away from the wood, so it didn't make the same depth all the way across here. So I changed it to this. I don't know what you call it. It's like a router bushing or something. But I got that at Harbor Freight too.
Yep, it's a bushing. Yep.
Okay. Let me show you the other end of this real quick. You know, I made a banjo for this thing to sit in. This is just a 1/4-inch plate. I don't know, 3 inches by 9 inches or something, and it has a 1-inch shaft that's welded to it. So it drops down, and I made a banjo that it actually drops into and tightens up. So all this is tight. It doesn't move. It's flat, and it is set up to where it's in the center of your the center of the turning. So when the bit's in there, you're going straight into it. I made another little platform here, and this is what I was explaining to Matt earlier. This platform over here I made, it actually has a piece of metal that will slide up and down this slot. And what I was going to do here, what I was trying to do, was to keep the router from fishtailing. Because right now the router can move around. And the first time I tried this, that was part of my problem. This thing kept trying to move, but I didn't realize, I guess, how to actually move all of this. You don't pull the router and try to make it move. You turn the wheel, or you turn your stock to make it move. to make the router slide back and forth. But anyway, this was to set up here. It would hold it straight, and then it would still be able to slide back and forth, but it would be like that sliding into it. It just wouldn't fishtail out here. But in this scenario, I don't need that. Seems to work pretty good, just like you originally had. So if I put that back on here, I'm tied to the cable. And let me flip around to the other side of this, and so you can kind of see it. You're going to get seasick here a minute till I get around here, I guess. Now, what can you see? Maybe
Yep,
okay. Can you see this index wheel?
Yes.
Or am I too close to it?
No, you're good.
Okay. The index wheel, you know, you can buy these. That's what I did. I bought the index wheel, but you can also make them. I know on our web page there's a deal out there that shows you or tells you how to make your own index wheel. You know, you just print out a little graph, and most of these you're not going to put a whole lot of spirals going around your piece anyway. You know, unless it's not like you're doing little bitty narrow deals. You could, I guess, but from what I've found or what I've decided, I don't need anything even bigger than this. This one here, I think the 98 is the top one, but I'm never going to get close to that. But the index wheel is pinned to this cable wheel. So if I undid that pin, now I can turn this and my cable wheel doesn't move. So the router doesn't move. But yet the headstock and the actual piece does move. So let me line this back up again. I have it marked on the index wheel where I want to have these holes at. This piece right here actually has holes up and down. There's like 4 holes. I've got 4 sets of holes in the index wheel. So I've got 4 holes drilled down this so I can pick whichever group of holes, going on that index wheel. Last week, I was showing you, that little 6-inch vase that I wanted to do. Well, I had to use this one, and here's my 4 holes that the index wheel would actually pin to. I'm only going to use 1 hole, going every time here because I'm going at the same distance around it. But this is the other half of it. On this one, I made separate. Am I still in the? Yeah, I'm still in the picture. On this, I made separate cable wheels, different sizes, so I could, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do or what was going to happen. So I did make several of these that were different sizes, and this is the one that I used for that vase I just showed you a while ago. So it's quite a bit of difference. So the cable would actually wrap around this, and your index wheel would be pinned. For this one here, the index wheel, the cable wheel is all in one piece instead of it having 2 different pieces here. That's all one piece here. So now that I've got it pinned again, if I turn this, everything moves. The router moves, the wood moves, and that's how it works. It's a pretty slick little deal, and it takes, you can do all this by hand. This is nothing new. It's nothing that you couldn't do by hand. It takes some of the work out of it. The router makes it a whole lot simpler. Let me pull that up a little bit and see if we can't. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to turn it on and go ahead and turn this thing. So you get started. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, we can hear you.
And I can stop it anywhere I want to. It's going to go back in exactly the same spot every time because the cable is tight enough to keep it from moving. I do have, I think I have gaffer's tape is what's really around this. It's something to give it a little friction fit on the cable, so the cable grips this little tape better, so it doesn't slip on this wheel. And the tightening up, you tighten this cable up. On this end, all I have is a couple of washers screwed together to hold the two pieces of cable together. And then you move one of these out here to tighten it up again. So I can loosen this one up and the cable will get loose. And then I push it back up in this corner and tighten it down, and it makes the cable tight. So let me go ahead and finish this one, and then we'll talk about it next.
Is your brass bushing working better than your rubber bumpers did?
Yes, a whole lot better. The
Okay,
brass
cool.
bushing, I don't know if you can see it. Let me try to reposition this a little bit. Can you see the bushing yet?
No.
I can.
All right.
We
How about
did
now?
see
Is
it.
that
We did.
better?
We did see it. There it is. Yeah, we did see it earlier.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay, here the brass bushing actually goes up. I have the blade sticking out about 3/16 of an inch out of the brass bushing. So the brass bushing is keeping it off the wood that distance all the way across here. So this going back and forth that I was doing, I just didn't want to go real deep and make big cuts out of it at the same time. So I was making light cuts and moving back and forth. But now the bushing goes up against the wood, and that's as deep as it's going to get right now.
So this is real similar to, say, like my old Craftsman router lathe, except I think probably a little more versatile.
Yeah, I think it is a little more versatile. I haven't really seen the Craftsman one, but I have seen it on YouTube, working. But this works really well, and there's enough slop in this cable, even though the cable's tight. There's enough slop in here to where you can push it up against the wood and make the contour follow the contour of the wood. So right now, after I'd get all of this size done, then I would actually go back with another bit, what they call the cove
core box.
A core box. There you go, core box bit. Either I know that's a 1/4 inch bit in here, just a little bigger, or maybe all the way up to 1/2 inch. The problem is if it's 1/2 inch, I'm not having a lot of wood in between the spirals right here because it gets pretty narrow. And when you go to sand it, it depends on the look that you want, I guess. When I go to sand it, it might make that look a little funny.
Well, that's pretty neat, Bob.
But you take it off here. After you do this, you take it off, and then I use those sanding pads that normally go in a drill, put it in my drill press, and then I can move the wood. And it's easier to move the wood than it is to move that sander back and forth, to actually finish shaping this thing. Any questions or?
No, I'm amazed at how well designed it is for being, or how simple it is for being well designed.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I thought it was a very good design, and it's real simple to make. There's nothing to it. There are these T-tracks. Those T-tracks go all the way around the outside of this on the edges of my platform so that these cable pulleys can slide anywhere you want it here, any position you need it.
Hey, Bob, could you zoom in on where the cable connects from the wheel to the table? So I can see that portion there.
Yeah, okay, let me
Lower
take this
left.
thing. Let me go around on
It
this
says
side.
to your left, sir. At the, okay, so around your major
Bob,
drive
your other
wheel.
left.
My other left, let me see.
Headstock side, I think he's asking.
Oh, okay. You want to see the headstock in? You want to see how the cable actually goes, how the cable track is. I got you. Okay, so coming off this wheel, now I've got it going around the wheel twice.
Okay, so it is physically going around that wheel twice and then routed off of the cord system around the whole table.
Yeah. And let's say like the top of this, the cable's coming off the top of this, going through a pulley and down to this bottom, to this other edge out here on my right.
Right. Okay, and then you
Now
have
this
another
side,
pulley underneath for the
yeah,
other
and then there's
side
an
of the
actual pulley underneath coming off the bottom of the wheel, hits this other pulley and takes it off to that.
Okay. Yeah, that
So
was
you gotta,
that was the point I was looking for. Thank you.
okay, yeah. The now I put, Jeff had actual different type pulleys on here, the swivel type pulleys, but to me they were too big. One, they stuck out too far, and I thought this was a little more appropriate for what I wanted. All I have is just a piece of baling wire in here, and that way I can turn them, twist them wherever I want it to make it fit the angles that I needed.
Farmer's friend, by all means.
Where did
Yeah.
the pulleys come from?
I bought the pulleys at Home Depot. All of this came from Home Depot except for the router.
Okay.
But I bought the channel at Home Depot because it was cheaper than Rockler's or anybody else's I found. And these are screen door pulleys. And that's about it. The main thing is that this thing is free. It sits here and spins, even though it's on the axis of the headstock of the spindle. It's free. It's not just floating on it. It's just sitting there. So that so when you unpin it, let me unpin it. So when you unpin it, see, you can see the headstock moving, and the wheel doesn't move because the wheel is tied to the cable, so it can't go anywhere until I pin it back again.
So is there a bearing in there, or is it just a hole cut larger diameter?
Nope, that's just a hole in the wood, just about an 1.25 inch hole in the piece of plywood.
How did you put the glue in the groove in the plywood? Did you use a router?
No, I actually put it on here and spun it, on the lathe.
Parting tool.
And use a parting tool to take that out. But that worked out good. You just have to make sure that you get this, straight where he's spinning straight.
Okay.
I did need a spacer in here. This piece right here is a spacer.
Questions for
Do what? You still there?
I think that was feedback on somebody from somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I did put this spacer here. When I put my chuck on here, it had too much room between the wheel and this, so the wheel would actually wobble. So I made a spacer, made this a little thicker, so that when I put it up here, it is actually riding up against it and holds the everything together, so this wheel doesn't move around, doesn't flop.
Bob, how do you index it?
Okay, let's go back over here to the index thing. You're doing this index wheel, right? So right now I'm in one, I think it's 48 holes in this row. And I decided that, hey, I want only 6 spirals to go all the way around. So you just figure out the number of however many holes it takes in which row to get six spirals going around this thing. So the index portion is this pin. I pin this thing. I got it out of whack right now, but probably right there. That line shows me where all these holes are. This line right here, I just drew it on here so I'd know where the holes are because I can't see them. But
And
there's a hole.
And the reason for the 4 holes, so you'll have different amount of flutes?
But the holes match the index wheel. There's 4 rows of holes on the index wheel. So his 4 holes will match the index wheel holes.
Yeah, but what do the 4 holes do?
No, okay. Now these aren't. Okay, let's talk about the rows of holes.
Right.
This row up here has 96 holes in it. This row has 48. This row has, I don't know, 24 maybe. I don't really remember. And then that one there might have 12. So you pick the row that you have and you can get multiple sections out of it. Like this right here. I've counted on this 48. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes. And 6 times 8 is 48. Right? So I'm only going to make 6 flutes if I hit every one of my little green tabs. So I'm going to go around this circle 6 times. So that is how you come up and say, okay, I'm only going to do 6 flutes around this thing. But if you want to know how to figure it out, is that what you're looking for?
I think folks are hung up on the 4 holes on the plywood.
Oh, on the board. Okay. All right. Let me show you on this other one. This piece is my plywood spindle, right? You see those 4 holes I've got there at the top?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That corresponds to the rows of holes on the index wheel. Not the actual index itself, but the row that the index is in.
So that hole is what he's pinning the index wheel to. That's his stopping
Right.
point.
So you see that pin? I go through the index wheel into a hole in this piece of wood. Now I can move it up to this one if I wanted to, and it's going to go in a hole in here only because I have a hole in that row, a hole in this row, a hole in that row, and a hole in the next row. Because I have those 4 holes. I could use any row of
to pin it.
To pin it. But the one I want is this guy right here. Because I want to be in this second row or second circle of holes.
And the reason why he was doing that second roll is so he can hit his 6 flutes.
Yeah, so I can hit my 6 flutes around here.
Okay.
If I went down to another one, it would be off. It wouldn't come like this one here. This one here has 48. That one's 24. I could have done it down here in the 24, but the 96 makes it harder to hit. Some of them will never hit. Like if you did an odd number, you do 9. 9 won't go into all of these, 24. It won't go into the 12 equally all the way around. So you have to find a row of holes that 9 will go into.
I have one of those templates right in front of me. Mine was made by Aslam Engineering, ALISAM. And I thought I did a Google on it earlier this year and I didn't find them. But it's a simple layout. And we have a template on our website if you wish to do your own. And if you have a protractor, you're in business. But you can use the template just as a dead center and get through them.
What keeps your index wheel from spinning? How's it locked?
With this pin. This is what keeps.
Well, the index wheel is locked to your spindle on your lathe somehow.
Yes, it is. there's a set screw right here that holds it to the lathe. This lathe has a 5/8 inch shaft coming out.
Okay.
And that's what this is. It's a 5/8 inch coupling with a set screw in it that I can tighten down onto the shaft in the shopsmith. So it's the same way on yours. I mean, on whatever lathe you've got, able to tie the index wheel to your headstock.
You're breaking up.
Let me take this apart a second and I'll show you it spinning. Maybe that helps. So all I did was loosen this up, this corner up, and that made all the cable loose. And now this, whoops, let me take that off. And now, oops, unpin it. Now you can see this move. See that slides around there?
Yep.
Okay. So all I'm going to do and to tie it back together is to find my holes.
Well, I
and
was just,
pin it back.
I was just talking about the index wheel to the lathe, not the, I understand your big wheel that spins on there.
Okay.
Understand that. It was the
Okay.
index wheel to the lathe only.
Yeah,
But
you
said
see the set screws?
Yes,
Can you see that?
You got it connected to a flange essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's got that connected
Yeah,
to the index wheel, and it's connected to the lathe
Right.
there.
Right, it's connected right here. What I did, I took a 5/8 inch coupling. It's 2 inches or 3 inches long, and made my own deal for this index wheel. Because I welded a washer to it and then screwed the washer. You see these screws? That's what's holding it to the index wheel.
Yep.
Let me take it all apart. Maybe that's better. Let me take it all out here. Just a second.
Mark, what's your question? Mark Keith?
How did he go from the 5/8 inch shaft to his 1 inch for the one-way chuck that he's using? Did he have to buy an adapter for that?
Yeah, thread insert, probably.
Yeah, that's just an adapter. Let me, y'all can't see anything, can you? Can you see the chuck?
No, we're looking at your at some equipment on your bench.
Okay. All right, let me, is that better?
We can see your dust collector.
Here we go.
Now.
Yep.
All right, so right now we're looking at my chuck, and I'm going to take my chuck off. And this little wheel was stuck, was out here. I had it just locked down out here. On the Shopsmith, that's what moves instead of the tailstock. You know how you screw your tailstock out and in? Well, I've got a screw mechanism on this. So this thing will slide off here. It's just sitting around this 1.25 inch coupling. So this coupling that I bought was a 5/8 inch coupling. See my 5/8 inch shaft?
Yep.
Okay. I have another one. That one there I made and stuck, and put on here. But there's the real shaft. That's all I have coming out of my machine right there. It's a 5/8 inch shaft. So I took a coupling, whatever that is, 2 inches long or something, 3 inches long, 5/8 inch coupling, and I welded a washer. And this index wheel is actually 1.5 inches or 1.25 inch index wheel, whatever the size of this coupling is. And I just happened to weld it on here to where it, give me something to tie to. But that's just how I made it. I mean, you could make these any way you want to. On yours, on a normal lathe, you could put this up here and put your chuck up against it and hold it tight and make it tight. Put some sandpaper or something in here where it won't turn it. And then it would be tight and not move whenever you turn the headstock. There's no pressure here other than you pulling it. You're not going to turn it on. The he does sell a DVD, and that's what we talked about last week. And in it, it's one of the guys that actually made up all of this piece, this and the cable wheel. They put it on the far end of the headstock. You know, they put it out down here to where it worked better for them. Yeah,
So their
what do you see?
indexing, so indexing would be separate than their holding. The chuck would go on like a normal installation, and that would hold the piece of material. And the opposite end, which is the opposite end of the headstock, is where your index wheel would be mounted.
Well, I'm having trouble with my camera here. I can't get it back. Cancel. I want to cancel that. So close together. How about that?
No,
We still see the R. No, no video.
hit the video on your Zoom.
You
Oh,
gotta
the
turn your
video.
video
All
on.
right, start video. There we go.
There you go.
All right, so now I got to go back and find those buttons again.
They're on the bottom, Bob, remember?
Yeah, I remember. But they're so close together, I'm having trouble hitting them. Anyway, there we go. We're back again for a second. Now, what were we looking at? I forgot. But anyway, there's lots of ways to do this. It's just figuring out how to get this thing tied to the headstock, the index wheel, and make some type of a cable wheel that will turn. See, this one here actually went over there, and he went over this coupling. And this is what I had before. I could tie it, it would turn just like that. But he's turning on my adapter that I have here. And then I have it pinned back on this side, and still go back to the index wheel and pin it. So they all turn together. And then this, whoops, not that one.
So the index wheel is tied to his spindle, and that controls how the piece moves. The big wood wheel is tied to the router, the flute jig router, and they only move together when you pin the index wheel to the big wood wheel.
That's correct. Okay, now this one, you remember I made different sizes of these, and I have to pin them since it's not physically connected to it. I have to pin it to this wheel. I'm going to call that a platen, or nothing. I mean, I have no else to call it. So anyway, we're going to call that a platen. So this thing, this cable wheel is pinned to the platen, the way this one's set up. And then this thing would go back up here and tighten down up against it like that. And it's got to have a little slop, so this will still move until you pin it. And once you pin it, then it all moves together.
And the smaller wheels. Go ahead, Matt.
The reason why you pin them together is so, like, let's say you want to do 6 flutes like he's doing, then you need 6 holes all the way around that you're pinning to. So each pinhole gives you a different flute. Have I explained that correctly, Bob?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So each time I pin it, now I've got a different flute that I'm going to cut. So I pin it. So I turn the piece to where I'm indexing it. Let me find my piece again. Okay, so I've cut this one, and I would turn it and index it to this one. I want to cut right through here. So I would turn this piece, pin it, and now I want to cut right down this one. Right.
And then when you're done, you unpin it and move it to the next hole you've got marked to do the next flute.
Yes, I unpin it, move the headstock and the wood to another hole. The cable doesn't move at that point. The cable's stationary until I pin it again. So I have turned it, and now I'm going to pin it to where the router is lined up with this one, and then I cut that one. And when you turn this, that's what, and the distance that it moves is dependent upon this wheel right here. So what you do, let me move this back over. Anyway, somewhere right in here. What you do is you figure out, can you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What you do is you measure how long you want this thing to cut, not around the piece. You want to know the linearly length, the length along the edge of this that the router is going to actually travel. How long is that going to be? You need to know that so you know what size wheel to make. And I'll show you those figures in a minute. But you have to know this piece. You have to know how many flutes you want around it. Well, do I want 4 flutes, 6 flutes, or whatever? And the way you really figure out how many flutes to put in here is you take the smallest diameter, not up here, this would be the largest one. If you want the smallest diameter, and then you're going to divide that by the width of the bit that you're going to use, plus the separation. You know, right here, I got a 1/2 inch separation and a 1/4 inch bit. So then you divide it by the 1/4 inch bit plus this half, so it'd be 3/4, and you divide that by the circumference of this piece right here, the smallest part. And that'll tell you how many flutes you can get. If you put too many flutes, if I try, I can only get 6 flutes in this one, in that 1 3/4 inches. If I tried to get with a 1/2 inch bit, I plan on coming back with a 1/2 inch bit for the final thing. So if I lost my train of thought. But anyway,
if you were trying to use a 3/4, if you were trying to use a 3/4 bit, you'd go through all your flutes. You'd just tear it up.
That's right. If I tried to use one too big, I would have no wood in between the flutes, separating the flutes. I'd be cutting over the top of the next flute, which I don't think you want to do that. I don't want to do that. But I do have some paperwork here. Let me show you that. Let me do a share screen. Do you have any more questions about the setup before we go to how you figure this stuff out?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So we need to know the distance of this. We need to know the smallest diameter or the circumference right here. We need to know this one. Smallest diameter is the easiest thing to see. The distance that you actually want the router to move, the smallest diameter, and then we'll figure out the number of flutes you can have and the size of wheel that you need, the cable wheel. Because those things will come back later. So let me show you the paperwork, and then we'll talk about that.
Hey, Robert, can you also put this into the chat?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is to send it to David because it's a couple of sheets.
Okay. That would help.
Perfect. Okay. There we go. I got my volume back up anyway. Let's see here. All right, can y'all see that?
No, you've got your video turned off.
Great. Let me figure out. Let me go back.
Camera.
So
camera on Zoom.
Yeah, pushing all these buttons here. Nope. Back.
To the right of your mute button. There you go.
We can see you,
now,
Bob.
can you see me?
Yep.
Yes,
okay.
we can see you.
Good. All right. So right now I have to do a share screen. Right. And then what am I going to do? Document or?
Then you pick whatever your file is.
Well, I've got it open, but camera. How about a document?
Click the share button, the green button in the center.
And now you have to pick it. Let's see if that works.
Here it is. I got it. I think I got it here.
Yep.
Okay. Now, can you see that?
Yes.
All right, so you can either read it, or what I do right now is just take a screenshot of it. Everybody know how to make a screenshot off your whatever device. But basically, you need to know.
I'll
you need to know
screenshot the pages. Go ahead.
Okay.
got
The
this.
linear distance the router needs to travel. That's the one we talked about, going, straight down the piece. How many twists how far do you want it to twist? Not how many twists. How far do you want it to twist going around this? Right. The piece that I just cut was only a quarter of a turn. So I have a very, very gentle twist to it. The other piece that I did, the shorter one, that 6-inch vase, that was a half a turn. So you need to figure out how far this twist needs to go. A half a turn, a quarter of a turn, an eighth of a turn, a full turn. Maybe you want this spiral to go from the top to the bottom, to go all the way around your piece and end up at the same spot. But anyway, those are things you need to know. And then you can figure out how many spirals you can have around the vase and the size of the wheel to do this. So let me go to another shot here. Okay. The linear distance is, again, I might have this written down wrong, but anyway, you measure the distance side to side on the vase where you want the spiral to be cut. Be sure and don't measure the path of the router bit. You want to measure the path of the router, not the bit. That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay. And then as far as the number of twists, you need to decide, do you want a quarter of a turn, an eighth of a turn? How far do you want this spiral to twist when he goes around your piece, your vase, or your, like this thing here? One more here. Yep. Let's see. Okay, and then this is how you can figure it out. How many spirals can you have around the vase? And that's the actual formula. So you take the circumference of the smallest diameter. So you take the smallest diameter here and multiply it times 3.14, and that gets the circumference. That's the distance traveled all the way around the outside of that smallest piece. And then you divide that by the bit size, my 1/2-inch bit, plus my 1/2-inch or 1/4 inch or however much spacing I want between the spirals at that smallest point. And that'll give you the number of spirals that you can have. Maximum number of spirals. You do more than that, let's say this one was 6. If I did 7, then you would be cutting over the next spiral when you got all the way around here. Okay, and then the size of the cable wheel is the next thing you need to figure out. And that's the linear distance traveled, which is this 12 inches up and down, times the twist distance. Let's say that in here, I wanted to go a quarter of a turn. So if I look at this, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to pull 12 inches of cable off of that cable wheel in a quarter of a turn, then my whole circumference of this cable wheel would be 4 times my 12 inches. Okay, so you would take that 4 times 12 would be, what, 48, divided by 3.14, and that gives you the diameter of the cable wheel, where the cable is actually going to ride.
15.28.
Yeah, if I lost anybody yet. Okay, let me go to the next slide. Now here it is all drawn out for you using the dimensions of the one that we just cut tonight. So it's the same thing again. We're taking the circumference of the smallest diameter of the vase. Okay, in my vase, the smallest diameter is 1.75 inches. Okay, times the 3.14, and that equals to, it equals the circumference here. The circumference equals 3.14 times the diameter of that piece, which is 1.75 inches. That's the diameter of the smallest section I've got here. Okay. And then you take that number and you divide it by the size of the bit plus the spacing in between. And that's the number, and that's 6.28 is the number of spirals that I can actually have around the piece. I can't have more than 6. 7 would make it, would be over the number. So the maximum I can have on this piece with the bit size and the spacing can only be 6. You can make it less than that. You can make it 4. It's just you can't go more than the 6. You know, you can make it 3, you can make it 5, anything you wanted, the number of spirals around it. The next one here is the size of the cable. And that's if the distance of the linear travel is 12 inches, which we have here, and we want to travel 1/4 of a turn, that's the distance around the vase. We're only going to go 1/4 of a turn around this vase. Then it is the diameter of the wheel needs to be 12 times 4. Do you understand why it's times 4?
Yes, represents a quarter a turn.
Okay. That's right. Okay, divided by this, pi, which is 3.14, and that gives you the diameter of your cable wheel, 5.28. So anywhere close to 5, 5 1/4. 5, because nothing is written in hard numbers here. I mean, you could make it 15 inches and it's still going to work. You might have to have less spirals, but you can tell real quick. Let me show you one other thing here. Y'all keep looking at that a minute, and I made another little jig and that you can actually put it on here with a pencil. So let me see if I can figure out how to get out of this.
It should be stop share screen.
Yeah, but I got to, on a phone, it's a little different. Now stop share screen. Okay. So turn it that way. Okay. Can you see the router, right?
We're looking at your
What
piece
you
now,
see.
Bob. We're looking at your piece.
Can you see
Now we can see the router. Yes.
Okay. And all I did was make another dummy piece here that I can put a pencil in. And see how the pencil lines up the same, up with the bit. So I'm going to put this thing back on my cable, slip the cable thing over the top of that 1/4 inch bolt. And then I can run the pencil. I can still move the wheel back and forth and run the pencil, and you can see where the router is going to cut. So you could put that pencil mark, and move your index wheel to 6 times, and you could see every pencil mark and see what it's going to look like before you cut anything.
Good trick.
Any questions, or y'all tired of listening to this?
Oh, no, it's very interesting, Bob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me show you the banjo. I mean, there's nothing about the banjo that, everybody can make, but basically all it is that 1/4, that 1 inch shaft going through a pipe, and I think it's an inch and probably an inch tubing or square tubing. And then I have a spacer, so I know it when I put this white spacer in here, piece of PVC, then I know it is the right height to make that router hit the center of the turning of the piece. So you can see the pieces going around. This thing just slides. And this T-track. T-track's probably the most expensive thing. The little bearings weren't that high, but the T-track was higher.
That's pretty slick.
Very
Yeah, I think it
interesting.
works pretty good.
Yeah, I think
I
so
like
too.
it.
Hey,
So
thanks,
anyway,
thanks
I'm
for the
gonna,
explanation on all that, Bob.
sure. I'm gonna send those sheets, those 3 or 4 sheets, whatever that was, send that to David, and he can put it on the webpage.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
All right. Oh, one other thing here, and I made this thing adjustable, this piece that holds my pulleys out here. I made it adjustable to where I could pull it out further wherever I needed these wheels. If I had the board turned the other way, like the other day when I was doing this 6-inch piece, I had one of these pulleys right, and that means that this stuff needed to sit right in here rather than way out here. So I needed this to be adjustable to be able to slide it in and out, that post.
Okay.
But that's it. Okay, guys, that's it. That's all I got, I guess.
Thank you, Bob. That was fantastic, sir. And this is a collaborative effort because Matt Harbor helped Bob with the camera setups and the mechanics or the electronics of getting this demonstration for you. Dean.
Yeah, he did.
Dean, I've lost my main computer. I had to go to my iPad and jump onto my iPhone from my iPad. So I'm kind of restricted on what I can show and do right now. But we have some demo, some gallery, don't we? We have 21 minutes at the top of the hour. We got 21 minutes for gallery, folks.
Yeah, so with that, let's go to Joaquin here.
Uh-oh.
If he's still on here.
It's never a good sign.
No, it's.
You got a good point there.
Right now, the shirt is a lot clearer, Cap.
No, Joaquin with a J.
No, it's with a W. Cherokee Indian.
The other Joaquin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He must have jutted out. Well, Joaquin, do you got anything?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple of things. Yeah.
Got the same name, just spelled different.
Yes, it is. I did some bolt action pins. This is a spalted wood of some kind. I don't even know what it is. Just mystery wood. That's not very good, is it?
It looks good though, Joaquin.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This is a piece of mesquite on this one. So I got this one it's out of white-tailed deer, and I don't put no finish on it. I finish it like I would an acrylic, sand it all the way to 12,000 and put that Hunt's plastic polish on it, unless it's got force in it. And then I did a mesquite bow. It was just a bow like this, and I said that needs something else to go with it, and so thought it needed a lid, and that's African.
Nice, man.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That's very nice. I like it. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
And then I like hackberry, especially wax the ends on spoil. And this is one that I did.
Wow.
It's got a vase in the center, or a cat.
Oh man.
Here we go. Yeah. But even on the back of it, it's got pretty good figure, which not showing up good. But anyway, that's what I've done this week.
Right
Thank
on.
you,
Thanks,
Joaquin. And
You're welcome.
for novice members, we look at pieces and try to figure out what our imagination can make these grain looks like. And Brenda leads the pack in this. I mean, she probably saw a naked lady with a tutu on right there.
Oh, no, next, ladies. My turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Check this out. Finally finished the urn.
Wow. Beautiful, Brenda.
That's
Because I ran out of heat in the garage.
That's nice, Brenda.
It's very nice, Brenda.
PVC screws in.
Yay.
Yay.
Nice move. Nice move.
And you got part of a snowman on the front.
This one actually screws
Oh
up.
man.
Where you see a snowman.
Turn it around. The other side. Keep going. Right there. You cut his head off.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
Yep. I have to wait till I get heat back out there to put some polyurethane on it. Right now, all it's got is boiled linseed oil.
Yeah, it looks good.
So while I was doing that, I needed a funnel to fill it with. Which one's which? So I made a funnel to fit inside of it. See there?
Did you make that on purpose or did that just happen?
I made it this way, just like this. And how did it fit it? Oh, it fit both my both of the urns that I've made. I've got 2 different holes in them, 2 different sizes, and this fits both sizes.
Okay. Very nice.
I love the way that it sits. I hate funnels, you know, they're funnel shaped right on the outside.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a funnel shape on the outside.
Right.
They all fall over
Hands free.
flat, so it would stay still. So when I was doing that, a friend of mine said, hey, I could use one of them. So I made her one too. And hers fits a small mouth mason jar and a milk jug.
Ah,
Cool.
there you go.
That one's hers. That's what
I didn't think we'd ever have a president of the funnel club.
That was a good idea, Brenda.
Club now. It's the only club I don't belong to. Funnel Club.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, now you just created it.
All right.
Thank you,
Gonna get
Brenda.
Gonna
Very
get you
nice.
another logo. All right. Thanks, Brenda. All right. Let's go to Carl Gary. Carl, you
I've
still
got
there?
a spalted bowl that I made. I don't know what Brenda will be able to see in this, but
Here we go.
Oh my.
What is
That's
that?
beautiful stuff in that. Oh, I love that.
It's spalted what?
maple.
The wolf.
Ooh.
Oh, I love it.
Pretty wood.
That is some nice wood.
Oh,
Texas.
I see a bear. Bear going after a trout.
That's
Yep,
the, that's the
Keep
even
spinning
better
it, Carl.
part.
Keep spinning it.
A smiley face right there.
Yeah.
Doug.
Keep going. Keep going.
I see it. I
All
see
right,
a
right there,
trout
right
going
there.
after a bear.
Right there. Right there. Right there.
There.
Fair.
It's upside down, but yeah.
Y'all do know you're chasing away new members.
And a
Y'all do
bear
know
rug.
that.
There you go.
Oh, the mouse.
Y'all
Oh,
are
look,
just
there's
crazy.
a frog. Huh. Yeah,
That's
you got
all
all
I
kinds
have.
of stuff going on there.
It's a beautiful piece of wood.
Hey,
It's
Carl,
gorgeous.
it's a beautiful bowl. Even if you don't see things in it, it's a beautiful bowl.
Yes.
It's about 10 inches wide by 6 high, and I used 3408 on it.
Yeah,
Very
very nice.
Very nice. Love it.
Came from my next door neighbor's tree that I had taken down last year.
Yeah, you gotta like trees
Frogwood.
like that.
Well, thank
All
you,
right.
sir. Appreciate you showing us
Go to
tonight.
David.
Uh-oh. David out of Lakewood, New York.
Hey, here I am.
Here you are.
You're up.
I'm playing a little bit with this spiraling jig, trying to learn how to use it. It's a little better, but not that great. Just a little simple little cherry box.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Cherry. Beautiful. I'm getting better at knowing the wood. Let's see that spiral.
I love cherry. The spiral is nothing to, it's not that great, but
Oh, yes.
Just
It's
spiral
getting
and then
better.
torch it.
Looks nice.
no, actually that's a black crayon,
Oh, okay.
which
Yeah,
it's
that works
smeared,
too.
it's smeared a little bit, but I had a gold piece of wax somewhere and I couldn't find it. And so I just tried the black instead.
You can
That's a
clean
great-
your
that's
roots
a-
up with a toothbrush or a brass wire brush. It'll clean it up.
Yeah, I used a toothbrush to clean it out a little bit,
Okay.
and then I made it's the biggest plate I've ever made. It's about almost 11 inches on a walnut.
Very nice.
Yeah. Beautiful piece of wood.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you, sir. It's
But
really
that's all
nice.
I've managed this week.
All right. Thank you.
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Doug.
All right. Was needing to do some more dibbers. Some folks asked for some, and I was kind of dreading that, not wanting to do them. So I went out and I grabbed a piece of where I got it from. They called it dunnage. It's stuff they use in big trucks and whatnot to keep stuff from moving about. Anyway, it's a piece of oak that I sliced up, and yes, that's oak. There's the inside. But after I turned the outside shape, I burned it, took my propane torch, burned it all the way around, and then get up here close so you can see, brushed it out so that the soft wood was, knocked out and just left the hard ridge stuff, and then put silver wax in there. So it comes off kind of gray looking. Had a couple of, you can see on the inside, a couple of pretty deep cracks. In fact, they go, yeah, you can see on the outside, they go all the way through. And I filled them partially with some CA and coffee grounds, and really thought the wax would go in there better, but it didn't look good. So after I waxed it, kind of knocked it back, I blew the excess out of there, let it sit for a day, and then went back and hand buffed on just some clear wax to give it some protection. So you got a lot of texture there, some nice color, something a little different.
Just don't put the soup in it.
Looks.
No, won't hold soup. Nuts are fine, but soup, no.
Yeah, very, very nice.
And Doug, if you're chasing Brenda's work, you ain't close.
No,
right,
not
Gotta get
fine.
that more uniform perforation in a bowl to run out with Brenda. Who's up next, Dane?
Well, we got Tim Hatch. Hey, Tim.
Hey, good evening, folks. So I was playing with that little burl that I showed you all last week and cut myself just a little small bowl. It's got some nice color and figure to it. A little bit of bark inclusion. Still got to finish up the bottom, but I decided to see how thin I could make it, and I got it down to about 2 millimeters.
Yeah, I noticed you're working on your thinness there.
I am trying to see if I can match Cade's or not, but anyway, working on thinness so I can work on some other like wing bowls and other things like that. But it was a fun little project. Took the wife to the beach, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to turn this weekend with the honeydews and everything else. But yeah, that's what I got. So finish on there is sanding sealer and some homemade friction polish made out of diatomaceous earth, beeswax, and some mineral oil. And I think the finish came out pretty good. So
Looks
that's
very,
what-
Tim.
Very nice.
sorry.
Nice, very thin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Appreciate it.
Nice job.
All right. And next we have Bob Clark. Bob, can you start your video?
I don't have a video. Oops, there. I'm sorry. How's that?
There you go.
It's funny, I should know how to run these things, but I don't. I was on the club website and I saw someone make a spear, and I thought, I had a spear making jig I've had for a couple of years and I never really used it. So I went and made one, just a little small one. And I really didn't like it, mostly because the cutter that came with the jig was real rough, and it just, so then I spent a day or so modifying it to put in a carbide cutter, and I made a piece out of Spectra ply, which came out pretty good. And I thought, well, that's
Yeah.
nice.
That is gorgeous.
But
Beautiful.
there's not a lot of fun when you use a jig, you know, and I've seen all these guys make them by hand. So I thought, well, I'll make one without a jig. And I
There you
actually
go.
measured it, and it's within about 2 thousandths of being perfectly round, and so were the other two. So I couldn't really tell the difference.
Oh,
You
Very-
know, when you start making these things, it's like drugs or something. You just can't stop.
Yeah.
So I had a piece of honey locust, and I made a bigger one. And honey locust is very heavy, so if I ever want to play bocce ball or something, I guess I can use that. Then I used a piece of olive wood, and I've gotten to where I don't use a jig anymore. And I just kind of followed what I've seen on various websites. And that little trick of a round cup, if it's perfectly round, the round cup will seal. That tells you everything you need to know. Then I made another one out of Spectraply. I had a piece of pink. I've got tons of Spectraply. Somebody was selling a bunch of it. So I've got a feeling I'll have a bunch of these stupid things.
Do you have the little cup? People might not understand what you mean by the cup, but
Well, if you take a
Cup man.
sphere
yeah, I know it works, but do you
and
have one of you
and a
showing?
cup, well, hold on. You know, a shot glass would be perfect, but I don't have one. So let's
Yeah.
see.
All right, members, we're in gallery session here. We got about 5 or 6 minutes remaining in our meeting tonight. If you've got something to show or a question or whatever, just where you're popping in at. And we had 2 good demonstrations tonight, 2 very good demonstrations. So, and all this information will be on our website. All right, go ahead, Bob.
If you take a glass or something with a perfectly round rim, and if it seals perfectly all the way around your sphere, then you've got something that's round. And
That's a neat trick.
It's really, you know, and you can, if there's a gap in there, you can see it. So that's pretty cool. And today I made a walnut one, a little bit bigger. And I even made one out of more Spectraply.
love
Yeah,
that.
with the Spectraply, if you're a little bit off, it'll show up really bad. But these came out pretty good. So you can see the
Perfect
Yeah.
eyeball.
things are
Great
perfectly round. So anyway, that's I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. Every time I come back from the shop, my wife goes, "How many did you make today?" You know. So
Very
anyway,
nice.
that's what I've been doing.
They're
Thank you,
perfect.
Bob. Beautiful work. Beautiful work,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Do we have one more gallery, Dane?
Thank-
No, that's it for the list.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I could show something if you guys really wanted one more.
No, we
Pop
don't
it
want
up,
any more,
pop
Matt.
Okay.
You're interested?
No, go ahead, Matt. I'll bring you up.
Nothing
There you
safe
go.
here. Nothing safe.
Nothing.
I don't remember if I showed this or not, but I did a demonstration a week and a half ago on little offset natural edge bowls. So, and this is the piece I made in a demo. And basically all you do is, you know, if the piece of wood is straight up and down this way, you just offset it a little bit when you make your tenon. And when you do that, things turn asymmetrical. You get one part that's raised up and shorter and one part that's lower and longer. So it's a lot of fun to do natural edge pieces like that because you get some really wild aberrations. So, and what do you see there, Brenda?
Got a grouse. It's a ruffed grouse.
Looks like a donkey.
No, it looks like a
That's a bear. Look
a
out.
charm.
It's
You
a
know,
bear
like
here.
an award. Looks like that Purple Heart thing. You know,
It's a devil.
heart.
Yeah,
Turn it
looks
the
like
other
a
way. It's a
coyote.
bear.
Anyway, so I'm always happy when I'm doing a demo and the piece stays on the lathe through the whole demo. So
Well, that's a good mark right off the the bat. You know, let's keep it on a machine.
I did another one. I did another one last weekend at my own club, and I was turning, you know, a Barbara Dill wave stem in a goblet, and I broke 2 pieces. So,
Hey, it happens to all of us, even the best. So,
True
but it
story,
makes,
true story.
it makes you learn. How can you learn anything if you don't make mistakes? That's
Yeah, well,
exactly it.
and I got to, I mean, realistically, I got through almost all the demo and I got to show all the techniques. So it's, you know, the one piece had it was just a bad piece of wood. The pith was in it. And so, but yeah, yep. It was fun and nobody got hurt. So, you know.
Good. Thank you, Matt. All
Yep,
right.
thank you.
Time for one more?
And yeah, go ahead, please.
Who we got? Who is this?
This is Joe Cheney in New
All right, go ahead
Mexico.
and talk and I'll bring you up.
That's Mad Joe. That's the new guy,
Mad
right?
Joe. Right.
Joe Cheney. There we go.
Okay. This is, the base is Norfolk Island pine. It has a little face in the front. And the top is threaded, made with Norfolk rosewood and a walnut finial, about 16 inches tall and 9 to 10 inches in diameter.
Hold it up a
I
little.
call it a remembrance jar or an urn, memory jar. Hold about 150 pounds.
Can you hold it up higher?
Just finished. What's that?
Can you raise it up higher? There we
There
go.
we go.
Yeah, the
Oh,
face
that's
looks
perfect.
like the Grinch. It looks like the Grinch.
Yeah, it does.
Sure does.
That's cute.
Very
Pretty much
nice,
Grinch.
though. Very nice.
How does
I
it,
use lacquer finish because it's so easy.
Joe, how does it open?
Unscrews.
You make the threads?
Yep.
Yep.
Some places it's.
There you go, Brent. There you go, Brent. The next challenge, make your own threads.
Can't do that.
Would you use 16 or
Nice.
is that 16 TPI or
12.
12?
I used the Hope threading system. Simon Hope.
Joe, you have another piece behind you on that table. Show us that.
I call this my mushroom on the mountain. I made this a while ago. That just sits on there.
Nice.
I think this is eucalyptus and a little Norfolk Island pine mushroom.
Very nice.
Very
Very
nice.
hollow, down to about a 1/4 inch wall thickness.
It looks very light.
It is very light. Trying to go
Looks
thinner,
good.
but I don't like to go through the side walls too often.
Love the
Yeah.
work.
It's always a good goal to have.
It looks wonderful.
How
Thank
many
you.
funnels has people made? I made a couple of funnels.
Well, you know what? Brenda's the president of the club. We can probably get you in that group. You know? And if something goes wrong, she's also has the Band-Aid brigade. So, you know, she can help you out, Joe.
Yep. Cut myself this week too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
TMI.
Didn't really need a
Yeah.
Band-Aid, but it was more like a paper cut.
They hurt the worst.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Great to see you with us. Hi, Brenda. And long as we don't have to count the Band-Aids, we're doing good with that. Thank you. And let me mention, folks, we have a lot of fun here. We tease about the Funnel Club, Band-Aid Brigade, the 2x4 Club, and it has lent us to have a little bit more fun in these meetings, and I really, really enjoyed it. I hope you do too. Sometimes we kind of get way off the flame, but you know, we're still cooking, and we have a little bit. We always come back with the technique. I watched tonight is we just saw how you take a glass jar or a lid or whatever and see if you've got any defects in your orbs or your balls. Good idea. I do know how to make a scraper that will do that for truing up the balls, and I'm going to find that piece. An old friend gave it to me a long time ago, and it works really well for your final scraping cut. And we'll put that together for a demo one day to show you how to make tools. Don't forget, we have our contact list. Our contact list is because we do not have a membership list. We didn't ask you any information to allow you to belong to this group. You belong to the group by being a wood turner and living in the world. Now, if you'd like to be on our contact list so other members can find you, and this is absolutely positively volunteer. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you like the information disseminated amongst our members, put your information in our chat. Put what you want in the chat, name, address, phone number, website, whatever you want in the chat. Non-commercial, please. Put it in there. And then our webmaster, our master webmaster, will take the information out of our chat and add it to our list. He will do that before he publishes a chat to our website. So we didn't take your information and put it on our open website. He took the information and he put it on our contact list. To get a copy of the list, you go to our website under contact, and you'll see the little button to press there. The only thing you don't find there is the password, which is Captain. You fill it in exactly as it says, and as a statement and as a block to be unchecked, unchecked, and then we will email you the contact list as it is at that time. So if you think I put my name on it, it wasn't on the list, you got to give Dave a little time. He's got a life, but he does this for us, and he puts it all together on probably the world's finest wood turning website. Well, once again, I got to thank you to all the demonstrators, the members, the gallery folks, my team, because I don't have a staff, I don't have a board, I don't have directors. I have a team of wood turners who include you. And we all get together Wednesday evenings, have a fun time with worldwidewoodturners.org. Time for me to say goodnight, and we'll see you back.
Good night,
again.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Save the chat.
Great.
Save the
Good night,
chat.
everybody.
Captain Eddie.
Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Captain Eddie.
Adios.
Yeah, Captain.
Adios.
Take care, you guys.
Yep. And then, hey, Eddie, I've got demos booked all the way through the first week of May.
Oh,
Updated,
Oh,
Bob.
wow.
uh-oh.
Any of them any good?
Well, I don't know yet. We'll have to tune in.
Hey,
Not the
hey,
first week of April.
hey, Eddie.
Yes.
I'm looking at Amazon at the Niji
Yes,
Master
sir.
Laser Engraving. Is that 30 watt max? The 460 by 810, is that the one that,
Not 30 watts.
not 30 watts?
No.
I don't know that, Ronnie, you still with us?
Okay,
You may have
I'll send him an
checked
email.
that.
It's got 30 watts.
Okay,
Send Ronnie an email and ask him, because Ronnie's got the one of the larger AJ. I'm using the Master 2, which is the very bargain basement model. In fact, I have the bargain basement model of the bargain basement one.
okay.
But I love it. I love it. But if I stepped up again, I'd be where either where Billy or Ronnie is right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Take care, folks. It's time to say bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye, John Boy.
Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, Mary Ellen.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Ellen.
Elizabeth. Bye, Jim Bob.